All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order as soon as I get the prayer out. So with that, if everyone would please stand for a short prayer and a salute to our flag. Almighty God, grant us the wisdom to make those decisions that are in the best interest of all our residents. May the Heavenly Father of us all bless those who have given the ultimate sacrifice in service to our nation, and may He watch over and protect our servicemen and women now guarding the gates of freedom. Salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. With that, a statement of publication, Jessica?
Take notice that this regular agenda meeting of the Mayor and Borough Council being held on this 20th day of July 2026 has been posted and advertised in accordance with Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Blumer.
Here.
Khaleesi.
Here.
Novak.
Here.
Rios.
Here.
Sinarski.
Here.
Zabrowski.
Here. Okay, with that, I'll ask for the approval of the prior minutes. Council President.
Move the following minutes of the mayor and council be approved on roll call vote, subject to correction if necessary, and they are the March 10th, 2026, June 4th, 2026, June 15th, 2026, June 15th, 2026, June 30th, 2026, June 30th, 2026, and finally, July 7th, 2026.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilperson Zabrowski.
Yes.
Blumer.
Yes.
Khaleesi.
Yes.
Novak.
Yes.
Rios.
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes. Okay, tonight, one of the great things is we're going to be recognizing some of our courageous firemen. With that, due to my good progress, but slow progress on my back operation, I've asked the council president to take this portion of the meeting over. So if the governing body would go up to the rail, please. And if I could have Dan McCabe, Guy Crowder, and James English come forward, please.
Well, first and foremost, thank you all for coming tonight. What a wonderful, good-looking crowd you all are. And it's not often that we get this many people at our council meeting. So I'm glad that, in fact, you are here tonight for what really is a special opportunity to recognize, first and foremost, one of our firefighters, volunteer firefighters, but also two members of our community who came to service for their own members of their community today. So there was a fire on Scott Avenue. When was that?
June 14th?
June 14th, and it was a tragic fire.
My old home.
In fact, it was Hervey's old home. So, and Hervey is here as our council liaison to public safety as well. And we're going to present these proclamations. But before we do that, first and foremost, I want to give thanks to all our first responders, particularly our fire department, our first aid, our EMS, as well as our police auxiliary. They do a tremendous effort for all of us in our communities, keeping us safe. And if you don't mind, can I have a round of applause for those? Keep that in mind as well, because later this evening we're going to be passing a referendum, or an issue for referendum coming up, and you're going to be able to give your thanks in November to those fine folks as well. But at this point, I'm going to turn this over to Chief Masterson, and if you can explain what took place and the heroic actions of both the firefighters and our members of our community, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to thank Guy Crowder here and James English, neighbors to, I believe it's Mr. and Mrs. Beckett, and the unfortunate event that happened on Scott Avenue that day. They went in, seen the smoke. They alerted their neighbor inside the house, woke her up, and got her out of the house and got got her to safety. Safety Officer McCabe arrived first on scene, and he went in to search for anybody else. Not making it too far because it was very overwhelming, but all in all, all three of you are very brave, and I appreciate everything that you did for that day. And we have we have no loss of life, no injuries that day. It was a good turnout at the end of the day with the firefighters and the neighbors.
And Hervey, if you could do the honors of reading the proclamations.
Borough of Sayreville Certificate of Recognition presented by the Mayor and Borough Council to Den McCabe. The Borough of Sayreville wishes to recognize your commitment to aiding a fellow individual in need and risking it all to save a life. Your efforts have enriched us generously because the community possesses no greater treasure than the dedicated service of its people. Congratulations. Borough of Sayreville Certificate of Recognition presented by the Mayor and Borough Council to Edward Jacobs. The Borough of Sayreville.
That's the wrong name, but what's the other one, Father? Okay, so this was for James English, actually. So we'll have to get him a new one.
Oh,
Well, how about that?
okay.
That's who Guy Crowder.
There you go. We'll get it.
Formerly known as Edward Jacobs.
AKA. Borough of Sayreville Certificate of Recognition presented by the Mayor and Borough Council to Guy Crowder. The Borough of Sayreville wishes to recognize your commitment to aiding a fellow individual in need and risking it all to save a life. Your efforts have enriched us generously because the community possesses no greater treasure than the dedicated services of its people. Congratulations.
Similar certificate for Mr. English, we'll get you hooked up.
So once again, we want to thank you very much for all of your efforts on behalf of the Borough of Sayreville, our fire department, our first aiders, and of course, our wonderful residents. Congratulations and thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey. Jeff.
Don't put that away because we have Comcast. It's okay. He can face you. We got a full house. Okay, that being said, our next is a presentation from the Comcast company. So if you would come up and make your presentation, you can face us or you have a full house. These are going to essentially be your customers. So if you want to take the mic and all right.
Okay.
We ask the questions.
Yes, absolutely, Mayor.
They're your potential customers.
Mayor, my name is Rob Clifton. I'm the Manager of Government Affairs for Comcast Cable here in the central part of New Jersey. With me tonight is Tim Quigley, our Director of Construction, Ron Bogard, our Supervisor of Construction, and Alex Navarro, our Director of Business Development. The reason we're here tonight is Comcast is interested in bringing competition to the borough for cable television service as well as internet service to your residents. Comcast is a Fortune 50 company, and we're throughout the United States, and we have a large presence here, over 400 municipalities here in New Jersey we provide service to, including many in Middlesex County. Sayreville is a unique situation where half of the town is served by two cable providers. Another half of the town is only served by one cable provider. And in that section of town, and that's the section of town we will be seeking a cable television franchise in. And how we go about this is first, we would need a right-of-way agreement from the municipality in order to apply for a system-wide franchise from the Board of Public Utilities. And once that is granted, then we could begin the construction process and provide information, provide services throughout that section. Since we know that another internet provider has applied for and received an ROW recently, we have some proprietary information that we will provide to the administrator that he can provide to the council and the attorney. And after tonight, our attorney will be in touch with the borough attorney to talk about the right-of-ways agreements that we've gotten in other municipalities, as well as show some of the other information about the project. So again, Comcast, we are investing in New Jersey. Now, how do we move the slides? Okay, next. So this is Comcast today. Our products, Xfinity, Sky, and NBC Universal. We provide different types of services such as Xfinity Mobile, products for our businesses, NBC, Telemundo are part of our Peacock, the streaming service, as well as Universal theme parks and Universal Studios. Next. What we're bringing, we're an industry leader in technology. Our network is built on an advanced architect that allows for low latency and strong reliability. We are consistently upgrading our network, and we'll do that if we are permitted the ability to serve here in town. And we have a proven track record. We've connected millions of homes. We pass over 31 million homes throughout the United States. Next. So our network is next generation fiber-based wired broadband. We deliver affordable, reliable, secure service. We now have Xfinity Mobile, which combines America's largest and reliable 5G network and an expansive network of Wi-Fi hotspots throughout our markets. And we also are a leader in business services for internet phone service. Next, please. On affordability, we have a program with over 10 million customers in it called Internet Essentials. And essentially what that was a low-cost, high-speed internet for individuals first that were on the free and reduced school lunch program, but now have been expanded to other types of social services, including veterans and families that might receive some sort of government service. And that's a product that's $14.95 a month for high-speed internet service. We have the most reliable Wi-Fi network in America, 99%. And 77% of our issues are mitigated without a technician ever having to come to a home or a business. We have over 2,000 cybersecurity professionals working for Comcast, and we have fought off over 34 billion cyber attacks over the last year alone. Next, please. We've been investing all over the United States with over $200 billion to expand our broadband service and create more jobs here in the United States. In 2025, we've connected over 1.25 million new homes and businesses. Lift zones are, we have 1,250 of them throughout the country. These are, we work with nonprofits to provide free Wi-Fi. This was kicked off during COVID when schools and libraries and things were closed. We worked with social service organizations throughout the state and the country to provide places where people could go and connect with their devices for free Wi-Fi so they could stay in touch, do homework, things of that nature. As I said, 650 million homes and businesses passed. We are the nation's largest internet provider. Over the last 10 years, we've invested over $80 billion in our network, and our business customers is over 2 million, more than any other provider. Next, please. Our investment in New Jersey, we have 2.7 million homes and businesses that we pass, our network passes, and we are connected to 1.3 million of those homes and businesses. We've invested over $2.5 billion in the New Jersey workforce, almost $1 billion in our network and technology improvements. We have over 53,000 total network miles and almost 1 million or 998,000 Xfinity hotspots, which means if you're a customer, you go around and you can get our Wi-Fi on these hotspots. Next, please. So we're building in New Jersey now. This is one of the areas, as I said, we're interested in serving. We have federal government money to connect some of the places throughout the state that currently don't have service. It's interesting to believe that in a state that is as built out as New Jersey, there are places where people currently cannot get internet service, and we are working on that. Next. So actually, this slide is wrong, and I've just been updated. It's actually 6,700 residential passings and 121 commercial passings here in Sayreville. That's where we're proposing to build. Next, please. So we will obviously work with the team here in Sayreville. Pre-construction, we want to make it as quick as possible to provide your residents with a choice for cable and internet service. So working with the municipality and our other utilities to get pole permits and things of that nature, we'll make that a priority. Next, please. Again, working to try to get rid of some of the barriers, working with your construction department, your engineer on permitting. We've already begun working with our pole providers. We do not own any utility poles ourselves. And obviously tonight we're here to seek a right-of-way agreement. Next, please. And that's the presentation. I'm Rob Clifton, again, Manager of Government Affairs, and I can open up to any questions
Okay,
or concerns you may have.
the first thing that I'd request is that you make arrangements with our business administrator to give this presentation to the public at our Adult Activity Center. It's pretty common for people coming in
Sure.
with these kind of projects to do it. You pick a night, you bring your different stations, you have your people at the stations, the public, it's open to the public. And
Absolutely.
it's fairly effective. It's a more relaxed atmosphere, and they can ask questions, come back with more questions. Just be prepared. The number one question they're going to ask is, what's the cost?
Right.
What will they pay?
And there are various tiers, internet tiers, faster speed, obviously you pay more. There are different tiers for the cable television as well, and with Xfinity Mobile as well. So we'll have
Okay.
all those answers available.
Okay. That being said, are there any questions from the governing body?
Which area are you looking to cover?
So I'm going to provide the administrator with a map tomorrow. It is proprietary since it is a competitive area. We don't want to disseminate that right now to the public, but for the purposes of the right-of-way agreement, if there is an agreement that the town's willing to give us, that will be made public. But tomorrow I will send a list of streets as well as the map showing the area. I can say this, that currently the area of town that only has one cable television provider is the area of town we're looking to invest in.
Okay, are you under a timeline and to do this public presentation? We're at the end of July,
Correct.
and there are a fair amount of people that take vacations in August. Is it adversarial for you to do it in September?
The public hearing with the residents? Or,
Yes.
We would like to try to get it done as soon as possible, but if that's going to be the timeline that the town inserts on. then that's-
What is the feeling of the governing body? August or September?
August.
Sooner the better?
Yes.
Are we all, okay, so
That would be-
we'll do it next month. We'll
That
do
would
it
be
in
great.
August, okay? But you know the business administrator, and he'll be
Yes.
your point of contact.
Excellent.
Yes, Mary?
I just wanted to ask, does it matter whether the areas that only have one are underground wiring?
Hold on for a while. The percentage is about 27% are underground
I don't
and the
know.
rest are aerial.
Okay, so, but there would be no problem with you doing the underground wiring?
No, not at all.
Okay.
And I have two construction folks here in case there's any more specific than that. But no, we've done underground in most places we are.
So would it be safe to say you could put it together in a couple of weeks?
A presentation?
Yes.
Certainly. It'd be
Glenn,
very
does that
similar
work
to
for you?
this.
All right. Well, so go over the exact dates. We'll advertise it
Terrific.
pretty well throughout the borough. And we're glad that you chose Sayreville to try to do some business in.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions? I mean, I will.
Yes,
The public portion will be Alberto?
if this goes through, is there plans for an office in Sayreville?
No, we have an office on Route 18 in East Brunswick. What we've done is we've gone away from the old traditional payment centers where people would come in and pay and we've sort of gone in the Verizon thing of having a store now where you can come in, sit on a couch, try the products and services, and there are people there that can answer the questions, provide you with the equipment. You can also do the old traditional things like pay your bill there, but for the most part, it's a retail store now, like Apple, like AT&T, like Verizon.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. We look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate
Thank you.
it.
If you'd hand that mic
Yep,
back
absolutely.
to
Thank you.
Nicole. All right. So with that, we're going to go into executive session. Before you start, because we have a lot of new people here tonight, so if the borough attorney would explain executive session.
Yes, Mayor. There are certain aspects pending litigation, potential litigation, contract negotiations that the mayor and council cannot discuss in open public. Otherwise, it would reveal proprietary or other negotiation points that would then hinder the municipality and not allow them to adequately negotiate or handle litigation if strategy if it was open public. So we're under the law, the Open Public Meetings Act, we're allowed to go into executive session to discuss those items. And we have 3 items under potential and pending litigations that we're going to be discussing this
How long do
evening.
you think we'll be in?
20 to 30 minutes, it
Okay.
says. It says-
So anybody needs a break, a smoke, the bathroom, there's a good time to do it.
And don't forget, you could sit up here and the front rows opened up. Plenty of seats.
Okay.
Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975 permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, now therefore it be resolved by the Mayor and Borough Council, the Borough of Sayreville, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey as follows. The public portion of this meeting is hereby adjourned in order that the governing body may meet in closed private session for approximately 20 to 30 minutes to discuss the following matters: attorney-client privilege pending litigation, Board of Education bus depot, attorney-client privilege, potential litigation, water contamination, attorney-client litigation, mosque. Following the conclusion of said closed session, the governing body shall reconvene the open portion of this public meeting to consider any other matters which may be properly brought before it at this time. The nature and content of the discussion which occurs in closed session shall be made public at such time as the need for non-disclosure no longer exists. This resolution shall take effect immediately.
Is there a motion, Council President? Motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call.
Councilperson Zabrowski, Blumer,
Yes.
Palisi,
Yes.
Novak,
Yes.
Rios,
Yes.
Narski.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to ask for a motion to return.
So move.
There's roll call.
Councilpersons Novak,
Yes.
Blumer,
Yes.
Delisi,
Yes.
Rios,
Yes.
Sinarski,
Yes.
Dabrowski.
Okay, next item.
Mayor, as a result of our executive session discussion on the pending litigation with the Board of Education, I am going to request that the council adopt a resolution authorizing the settlement of that litigation, subject to finalization of the settlement agreement, release, stipulation of settlement, and a formal written resolution that will be adopted at the next council meeting to be negotiated and finalized by the attorneys. But that I would need a motion to officially authorize me to move forward with that settlement, and the agreement and the resolution will be on the agenda and available to the public at the next council meeting.
John, you would?
I'd like to make that motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilperson Dabrowski.
Yes.
Blumer,
Yes.
Khaleesi,
Yes.
Novak,
Yes.
Rios,
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes. Next item.
All right, I got to read. Budget Resolution 2026-184, 2026 Budget Amendment. Whereas the local municipal budget for the year 2026 was introduced on the 13th day of April 2026, and whereas the public hearing on said budget has been held as advertised, and whereas it is as desired to amend said approved budget. Now therefore it be resolved by the Mayor and Borough Council of the Borough of Saraville, County of Middlesex, New Jersey, that the attached amendments to the approved budget for the calendar year of 2026 be made. Current fund, anticipated revenues, general revenues, surplus anticipated 6 million, from 6 million to 6.5 million. Miscellaneous local revenue, section 8, licenses, other licenses, sewer user fees, 5,850,000 to 6,900,000. Total section A, local revenue, includes total of group 3 items for $10,142,520 to $11,192,520. Miscellaneous revenue, section C, $850,000 to $950,000. Miscellaneous revenues, $300,000 to $402,000. Arsenal Trade Center pilot, $1,819,047.40. $2,257,298.69. Total section G, special items of revenue, $7,800,060.43, $8,340,311.72. Summary of revenues, surplus anticipated, 6 million, 6,000,005. Total section A, $10,142,520, $11,192,520. Total section C, dedicated uniform construction fees, $850,000 to $950,000. Total G, special items of revenue, $7,800,060.43, $8,340,311.72. Total miscellaneous revenues, $29,991,169.48, $31,681,420.77. Receipts from delinquent taxes, $1,100,000 to $1,200,000. Subtotal general revenues, $37,091,169.48, $39,381,420.77. Amount to be raised by taxes for support of municipal budget. A, local tax for municipal purposes, including reserve for uncollected taxes, $43,754,879.44, $41,081,628.15. Total amount to be raised by taxes for support of municipal budget, $46,311,720.78, $43,638,469.49. Total revenues, $83,402,890.26, $83,019,890.26. Public buildings and grounds, police salary and wage, public buildings and grounds, $987,851 to $939,251. Police salary and wage, $15,819,776. $15,694,776. Police other expenses, $725,000 to $660,000. Road repair and maintenance salary and wages, $1,034,611, $998,611. Sanitation salaries and wages, $1,373,975, $1,357,975. Sewage treatment and disposal salaries and wages, $863,185, $854,185. Vehicle and equipment maintenance salary and wages, $628,160, $615,160. Uniform construction code salaries and wages, $1,116,325, $1,045,925. Total operations within caps, $53,589,476.12, $53,206,476.12. Total operations including contingent with caps, $53,626,476.12 to $53,243,476.12. Salaries and wages, $28,954,841.12 to $28,636,841.12. Other expenses, including contingent, $24,671,635 to $24,606,635. Total general appropriations for municipal purposes within caps, $61,055,000, $588.12 to $60,672,000, $588.12. Subtotal general appropriations, $80,894,996.26 to $80,511,996.26. Total general appropriations, $83,402,890.26 to $83,019,890.26. Be it further resolved that two certified copies of this resolution shall be filed forthwith in the Office of the Director of the Division of Local Government Services for the certification of the calendar year 2026 local municipal budget so amended.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to open the budget to the public for questions or comments specifically on the budget. Are there any questions or comments on this item? Being no questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion. Mary? To close the public, go ahead.
Make a motion to close the public portion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Novak,
Yes.
Blumer,
Yes.
Lisi,
Yes.
Rios,
Yes.
Sinarski,
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Okay.
Now we need,
Mary, second motion?
Okay, I make a motion to adopt the amended,
budget amendment.
budget amendment as
Second.
read.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Novak,
Yes.
Blumer,
I'm going to say no because of the fact that we have a budget crunch and we are creating a lot of new positions. Some of them are management positions, so my vote is no.
Lisi,
Have we lowered it anymore? Significantly?
We are down from, the introduced was 25 cents and we're down to 13 cents.
Every time we come back, we lower it a little more, right? So is
Not
this-
since the last
This the
meeting.
bottom line?
This is it.
Yes?
I'm
This is the
sorry?
bottom- He's asking if this is the bottom line.
This is the bottom line, yes.
And yes.
Rios.
My vote is yes. I just wanted to add that we've been going back and forth, trying to, for the increase not to be so much, and we have decreased by a lot. The next step for this to decrease it any further was firing, and we didn't want to do that. So yes, this is the bottom line. My vote is yes.
Stanarski.
I'm going to vote yes. We spent enough of time on this. It's July. It's July. The budget has to be adopted. We have bills to pay. We have responsibilities. We can't help being the responsibility we have, the bills that come in, whether it's the compensation for health insurance, the MCUA bills, we got hit with some bills. I don't want to raise the taxes. I live in this town. We have multiple homes. We don't want to spend the taxes on this, but we have to. So my vote is yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes, and would comment, this has been an agonizing process, and it should be an agonizing process to have an initial increase of 25 cents and get it down to 13. That's agonizing. And it's not, none of us are satisfied that we've gotten to that last number. But the fact is that our fixed costs, not our discretionary costs, but our fixed costs have skyrocketed, and that's particularly our healthcare issues. And most of you all know what that's about. And we have a number of our employees who are making less these days because they're contributing more. And having that problem creates the fact that we have less discretionary money that we can spend. And this year, in fact, we're spending less discretionary money, and yet we have a big budget increase. We do have to work harder. We have to find other revenue sources besides simply property taxes or grants, because I can't be on your shoulders all the time, and you can't count on all the grants because they don't come in every year. And this is one of the big reasons why we have the increase this year. And the only other thing I would ask is that our process begins a little earlier, and I know that was difficult because it didn't.
Absolutely.
Yes, I agree.
Right? And I know the numbers didn't come in early, so that was a problem. And I would ask that it be a little bit more open and transparent. And I don't mean this in a negative way. I'd like to see more of our directors be involved in that discussion with us. I know that they are with our staff, and I would just want to thank our staff for doing all that and the work that they did. But I think we always like that interaction with them as well, so we can kind of see where they're at with that. So with that said, I do want to thank our staff for their hard work and their efforts, our directors as well. And I know there's a bunch of employees here tonight that I know that you had a lot of anxiety and stress over the last couple of months. And I apologize for that because that was certainly unwarranted. We appreciate your service. And again, yes.
Now we need a motion to adopt the 2026 municipal budget and resolution 2026-185.
All right.
So moved.
There's a second. Roll call.
Councilpersons Novak.
Yes, and if you
Yeah.
just give me a second to this was not an easy thing to do. And we had three large increases, but the largest one was $3.2 million increase in medical benefits. That's over what we normally pay. And that's basically, we absorbed all of the other, this is not a spending increase. I'm sure you weren't able to keep up with everything she was saying, but a lot of the department costs have actually gone down this year or remained level. So this wasn't a spending issue. This was an increase in cost, and everybody worked very, very hard. So basically, the only thing we're left with is the 13 cents, 13 plus cents and it's strictly the increase of the medical benefits. Yes.
Blumer.
Yes.
Lisi.
Yes.
Rios.
Yes.
Stanarski.
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
Okay, resolution received from the Saraville Planning Board following a meeting held on July 15, 2026, finding ordinance number 15-26 consistent with the borough's master plan. I just need a motion to receive and file that.
Council President,
Make a motion, receive and file.
is there a second? Roll call.
Councilperson Zabrowski.
Yes.
Blumer.
Yes.
Lisi.
Yes.
Novak. Rios.
Yes.
Stanarski.
Yes.
Okay, public hearing on the following ordinance number 14-26, ordinance amending the borough's training requirements for new fire department recruits.
Councilman Blamore?
It's open to the public.
Oh, I'm sorry. At this time, I'll open amendment, ordinance 14-26 to the public for question or comments on this ordinance. Are there any questions or comments? There being none, I'll entertain a motion. Councilman Blamore.
Yes. Oh, yeah, our little thing there.
Motion to adopt.
Yeah. I move the public hearing be closed, the ordinance adopted on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Blumer,
Yes.
Parisi,
Yes.
Novak,
Yes.
Rios,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
Public hearing on ordinance number 15-26, ordinance establishing an 18-month moratorium on the development of data centers throughout the borough of Saraville. Open it to the
Okay.
public.
At this time, I'm going to open the public portion. Are there questions or comments on this issue? Yes, sir. When you come up, if you'd state your name and your address, please.
Good evening. My name is John Shu. I'm reside in 219 West Shirley Avenue, Edison, New Jersey. And even though I'm not a resident of Saraville, I'm a person that really cares about the health and welfare of our communities throughout our county. And I do support a ban on the AI data centers, and I do support a permanent ban. First thing we need to talk about is AI data centers are different than the existing data centers in our country. AI data centers are being used for their language learning models. They're being used to do large-scale language acquisition, and this requires a lot more electricity, and as a result, it requires more water to cool down the data centers. This was the main reason why our electricity prices has increased so much these past 2 years. AI data centers account for 7% of the electricity usage in our state right now. It's projected by 2030, if things continue, it'll be 10%. So that's a huge amount of electricity usage. Water is actually one of the cheaper ways to cool down the AI data centers. And unfortunately, these corporations, many of them are large tech companies, they profit greatly from the AI data centers. And the cheapest way for them to cool down the data centers is with the water. And we've seen in other states, in Republican states, it doesn't matter, this is not a partisan issue. In Georgia, for example, where the AI data centers, they pollute the water. Residents, after the data centers are completed, they have soot and soil coming out of the water. So there's a big issue. There's not a lot of regulation on AI data centers, and they make promises, and they don't have to keep those promises, is what we've seen. So it is always good to be ahead of the scale. I know we want to discuss an 18-month moratorium. I'll just say 26 municipalities have passed a full moratorium. And there's also an issue with from our research, Title 40 of the municipal land use law, that moratoriums on bans can only be 6 months, and they can only be done so as a result of an imminent health threat. So you can pass an 18-month ban, but you also face the possibility of that being challenged in court. So it's always better to do the ban, and a ban is actually, just to inform the people, the ban is actually a change in the ordinance laws. And so that's why you can't really do it temporarily. And there's a reason that the state outlawed that. And we found that out because we went to the Old Bridge Council meeting. One of the Republican council people brought this to attention because the Democrat wanted to pass an 18-month moratorium, and the Republican actually pushed it to make it a full ban. And the lawyer explained it, and the head of the DP, I think, explained it. Yeah, so, there's the water usage, electricity usage, there's the noise, there's going to be homes within a mile radius of possibly the Hercules. And that's always a life, that makes just life really, really difficult for residents who live close to those areas. Another thing is obviously areas in need of development, they do not fall under the ordinance law, so they can build data centers there too. So that's another thing that all residents need to be aware of and be on top of. Yeah, that's my speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chu.
Thank you for the time. I'm pretty sure I don't have much to
I
say.
need your
but-
name and address,
Oh,
please.
sure. My name is Gabriel Cedino. I live 48 Roll Avenue, in the Melrose section. And my parents took me out of the urban area. I was born in Elizabeth, and they brought me over here into Saraville. And I had such a great time growing up over here, graduating over here. I put a lot of people on my back, and I took them out of this town, and we did better. My voice is gone right now because I'm also an artist. I do music, and I've been traveling. I've been on tour right now, but I just want to say that we have such beautiful natural resources right here in this town, and we should not be abusing it. So whatever centers is going down, whatever's going to suck our natural resources, we have a beautiful reserve, we have a beautiful nature preserve. We should be accepting and holding those things down, not utilizing them for other things, not for taking our resources. We should be having beautiful land in this town. And that's the things that's basically what I want to say, because I grew up out here, out of the ghetto, out of the freaking urban area, and my parents wanted me to grow up in a nice, beautiful area. And that's all I want to say.
Thank you, Gabriel. Young lady.
Hi, Allison Hornbeck, 7 Driftwood Drive. I'm going to come at this from a different angle because everybody understands about the environmental issues with these data centers. And I'm going to ask that you think about your financial responsibility to the residents of Saraville. So AI has been shown to not be profitable at this time, and I think we all know that. So it's being propped up by government contracts, and I'd like to speak on behalf of the generations that are coming behind us. I have my son with me today, and I will tell you that I'm just really nervous, so sorry. Gen Z does not want AI. They don't want these data centers, but most of all, they don't use AI the way you think that they do. So there was just a recent Gallup poll, and it said, employee Gen Zers echo these concerns relative to the workplace. As more say, the risks of AI outweigh its benefits, and trust in AI-assisted work is lower than in exclusively human output. So they're very worried about their futures. Gen Z's use of AI is mostly steady, but the enthusiasm is declining and skepticism is increasing. They are very worried about AI's effects on their cognitive skills, particularly tied in areas to thinking, learning, and creativity. And Lord knows we can't lose that in that generation coming up behind us. Heavy AI users show decreased problem solving and critical thinking development. So think about that. Who are going to be your future residents in this town? And if they can't have, good jobs, where are you going to get your tax revenue from? Concerns among Gen Z that AI may undermine skill development appear to be outweighing its perceived efficiency gains. So big tech is in a rush to put that data center up. But what happens when the need isn't there and these companies walk away from these buildings? And now we are left with the blight. Is that something that we really want? 5-10 years goes by so quickly. You all know that, we're all older here. Let's not pretend it's something, it's not. So please, let's stop and think. Do not jump on this bandwagon because you're being pressured to build these data centers. The residents of Saraville deserve your agency and care and consideration, not big tech. We do. So I'm asking you to write and pass a resolution for a permanent ban on data centers. So I just really want you to sit and think about this before you take this vote tonight, please. The younger generation behind us, they don't want it. So please, permanent ban. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bailey, Bernie Bailey, and I live on 1 Bailey Place here in Saraville. You like that? We've been around a long time. As a matter of fact, the Baileys have been here since 1863, and we care about this town. Right? You know, I'm used to coming up here and saying, you know, like I was director of public works, but that's not accurate anymore because I'm retired. But I'm here because I care about this town. I devoted my life to it, and I love it. I'm no expert on data centers, but I've lived here longer than any of you. Frankly, and what's happened in the past 20 years, I'm not too happy about. I believe that we should have a ban, a total ban, and not an 18-month political gimmick. I care about my town, and that's why I'm running for council. And if the people of Saraville are nice enough to agree with me, when I'm sworn in less than 6 months from now, I intend to support my fellow Democrats in calling for a complete and total ban on data centers in Saraville, as Hervé proposed. Now I'm a pragmatist, all right? And you have to be when you have the position that I had. That doesn't mean that in 10 or 15 years from now, when technology catches up, all right, that we can't change that. When we can have some irrefutable, conclusive evidence that the residents aren't going to be harmed, that our electric bills aren't going to be skyrocketing, that the water usage isn't going to be a problem for us, that we're not going to harm the environment, then if we can bring additional revenue in after technology catches up, by all means, okay, that's fine, but not now. I mean, whoever would have thought years ago that you could have a heart transplant or you could get a stent and could get back to work, okay, within a day or two. I just don't think that the time is now, and I'm afraid that if we don't do a permanent ban, that we're gonna somehow the horse is gonna try and get out of the barn before we can lock the door. I don't believe that Saraville should be a guinea pig, all right, for these untested and untried environmental monstrosities. I'm not a scientist, I'm not an expert, but I have some good hometown common sense. And I'm asking you, you know, people don't want these data centers, and you're supposed to be representing the people. So I would ask you to consider that. You know, like, what's the motivation? Is it money? Is it pilots? You know, good government is what we're supposed to be doing here, all right? And I know everybody up there, all right? And I'm talking from my heart because this is what I truly, truly believe. All right, so if you have enough votes and you're gonna pass the stopgap measure now, I guess that's it. But I really believe that there should be a total ban. Okay? Thank you. And on a sidebar, I'd like to make one comment is thank you for passing the budget because the guys really need that so they could get their jobs done. Okay? Thank you very much.
This side? Yes.
Hi, my name is James Fasulo. I live at 26 Rosewood Court. Good to see you. So I've grown up in this town. I left for a little bit and was in New Brunswick and found that it was just incongruous with what I've come to expect from a quality of life somewhere where I'd like to make the best of myself. The noise is a giant part of that in my experience. And I grew up in this town volunteering at Saraville BIC down formerly next to Bailey Park, seeing what's gone, how Cheesequake Road has, I'll say, evolved over the past couple of years. I feel like we've already had a decent chunk of this town's heart raised. And the thought of that area in particular, not to be too sentimental or idealistic about it, see that particular area of town turning into something that stands essentially to disenfranchise artists, disenfranchise specialized workers. AI exists to replace the human element and to reduce labor costs for people that we will never interact with, people who will never really care about us. There's nothing to gain for us in this town by having this here. They employ like 2 people, these facilities, on top of all of the outward negative effects. So that's really all I have to say. I'm also clearly in favor of a permaban. Thank you.
Which side? Anyone on this side, on my left? Yes, come on up. please.
Mike Vaughn at Weber Avenue, lifelong resident. I am for the data centers. Show of hands, how many people have seen Hercules property and know what it's about? Not many, right?
Property?
Yeah. Okay, I was there today. It's being demolished. If this data center is going to go where Hercules was, it's not going to impact any kind of environmental. You wouldn't want your kids playing there and stuff. You know, the land's contaminated.
What facts do you have on that?
I'll take a, anyway, so, and as far as noise goes, I've been to Digital Realty, and with a phone, it reads 65 decibels, which is nothing. It's like a air conditioner in your house. It's not loud. Hercules made noise. You didn't hear it. So another thing, Hercules, where it is, it's in like a hole. You don't even get cell service in there. It's, you know, it's tucked behind the woods. Now they got the warehouses. That's even another buffer. Behind it, you got Journey Mill Road, Bordentown, Cheesequake, no houses. Closest houses are by Kramer Drive. You also have the gun range back there. They hear the bullets being fired, but you don't hear Hercules. So, and the ratables is the big thing. Taxes are going up. All this construction with all these apartments, kids, we're gonna need more schools. I grew up in this town. There was a lot more schools back then. There's only 16,000 people in the town. Now, what's the population now?
27,000.
There you go. So you have to build more schools probably. So that's another good reason. And as far as environmental things, the water they use is recirculated, so you're not wasting water. The power, they do take power, but they could also put out power if they needed to. In case of an emergency or something like that, they could backfeed the grid. And Mayor, last meeting, you said something about disinformation, and I believe that too. That people are just trying to fill your heads with disinformation because China wants to get ahead of the game. Hey, AI is going to happen, right? If they don't do it here, they're going to do it somewhere else. So we might as well take advantage.
Hey,
Yeah, so why not?
Eloy, is the
Let's
officer
make
out in the
the
hallway?
money.
Will you ask him to come in and keep order, please? Oh, you're right there. Please keep order. Anyone who can't be civil, I'm going to ask you to step out. Because people are civil when you get up to speak, and you need to be civil when somebody else, whether or not they're in agreement with you or not.
And
So
also-
I'm just going to ask that everyone be polite to whoever is speaking, because they're polite when you're speaking.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Also, it's not going to create traffic like the warehouses do. It's going to provide some permanent jobs after the fact, which is good. So I'm for that. And then I just have some other issues with the town as far as the traffic lights, especially the one on Main Street Extension, about
Jim,
halfway
Jim,
down.
I gotta stick with the data
Oh,
centers.
sorry.
Okay,
I'll be back.
thank you. Yes, come on.
Good evening. My name is Sharon Hansen. I live at 5 Elizabeth Street. I'm a retired teacher. I taught American history for a very long time. And one of the key things I taught my students was critical thinking and do your research and be able to back up your research with more research. I have started to do some research on this topic. And what I have found in my limited research, I'm not a technology person, is that the benefits don't seem to outweigh the negatives in the long run. And I am concerned about several issues. Of course, environmental issues, water consumption, electricity, construction. There's nothing to say that the jobs that will be created will actually go to Sayreville residents. We don't know that the construction jobs will actually go to Sayreville companies. But I also am really focused on the environmental impact, especially for animals. And when we look at noise levels, we don't know yet what the impact is of these, what they call hyperscale data centers, the really large ones they are building. In Tennessee, they're concerned about one that's going up next to a zoo and what the impact is going to be. We can't say that yet. And I think Mr. Bailey made an excellent point that in 10 or 15 years, the technology may be better and may have mitigated a lot of these issues. And the word mitigate stood out in a lot of the research that I did. And it said that the environmental impact should be mitigated by any company that puts up data centers. And they said mitigate water damage, mitigate noise and light pollution, mitigate the impact on social economic issues in a community. And that word mitigate bothered me because it means they know there are problems. And I'm in favor of a total ban until the technology is really worked out and we can fully address these issues. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Valeria. I live at 34 North Edward Street. My husband and I moved here just last year. We came from North New Jersey because we were looking for something different, something more family friendly, a place that's quieter to settle down, hopefully raise our children here. And from the first time when we came to Sayreville, we thought this was a community that we wanted to be a part of. And so that's why I'm here tonight. Data centers aren't just another commercial development. This proposed ordinance itself acknowledges the concerns about the electrical grid, about the water supply, the noise, the property values, and the character of our community. These are serious concerns, and they're not going to disappear in 18 months. I worry that the temporary ban may give residents a sense of security that only lasts for 18 months and does not offer families protection, long-term protection. Families should not have to come back here in 18 months and fight the same battle over again. Most of us that are for a permanent ban are not against growth and are not against technology, but growth should improve the lives of the people who already live here. It should bring opportunities, businesses, and spaces that strengthen the community. I don't believe that industrial scale data centers do that. And I believe that this is a chance to decide what kind of town Sayreville becomes. With that being said, a permanent prohibition is not unprecedented. Other New Jersey communities have already chosen to protect themselves for the long term. So I hope Sayreville will join them and help lead the way in protecting the communities that families call home. My husband and I chose Sayreville because of what it is today. I hope future families will still have the chance to make that same choice, not just 18 months from now, but for many years to come. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Lauren Parrott. I'm a resident at 42.5 Quaid Avenue. I am a new resident to the town, so just to share a little bit about myself with all of you. My mom's family, her grandmother lost 4 sons to World War II, 2 at Pearl Harbor alone. My dad's family also served not in the U.S. service, but to New Jersey. His grandfather moved the family from New York to New Brunswick to be able to work making wood paneling. He was a master carpenter that not only made wood paneling for cars, but worked on the Rutgers banisters and woodwork that you can still see there to this day. Men in my family worked in warehouses from Mack Truck to the GM plant in Linden. The women in both sides of my family are of strong, stubborn, and artistic stock. So to give you an idea, obviously I'm going not in favor of the data center. I don't see it doing anything good for our community. That being my familial background, I come to the table with a lot of questions always. I never stop asking why, and I never have, and I never, hopefully never will. And in asking a lot of questions leading up to this, I was able to speak with my aunt who worked for Bell Atlantic all over, mainly stationed out of Atlanta, but all over the country and all over the world. She worked on things like lines and electrical grids. She's actually very familiar with reading schematics, and she made me aware that New Jersey's electrical grid system is not set up to hold as many data centers are being discussed and put in at this time. I spoke to a friend who is a stock whiz. It's his fun. It's his hobby. He made me aware that the top 5 AI companies right now, they only make $8 for every $30 spent. He pointed me in the direction of what economists are currently saying about data centers, and that is they are holding their breath, waiting for the burst, similar to what we saw in the housing bubble crisis and in the dot-com era, because they're hemorrhaging money at this point. It can't simply go on. At this juncture in time, just for those reasons alone, let alone the environmental facts, I think it's good to permanently postpone. We don't want to be stuck with a building that's going nowhere. We don't want to be stuck with something that's hurting our community, our electrical grid. To echo what everyone else has said, we don't know where the technology will be in 5 to 10 years, but I'd rather play it safe than play it fast and loose with what's going on in the borders of our town. That's pretty much all I have to say. Outside of that, I know everyone keeps bringing up kids. Technology has moved fast within my own lifetime. And I think everyone can sit here and agree that children would be better off with their noses, not so much in a tablet or a computer screen, but paying attention to the world around them. And AI as a whole system is pulling away from that more. And we should be really thinking about them and their critical thinking skills as we move forward. Thank you so much for your time.
Hi, I'm sorry, I'm very shy, but my name is Sarah Ahmed. I live at 48 Roll Avenue with
Where do you live, Jane? What's your address?
Sarah.
It's Sarah. Oh, Sarah, I'm terribly
Sarah.
sorry.
Yes, no, it's okay.
So I missed your name and I missed your address.
It's
What-
okay. 48 Roll Avenue. Yes, and I think AI is incredibly dangerous. I don't think you guys understand the full potential of what it can do. For children and women and their faces and the databases that they have. I think it's incredibly dangerous in a whole. As long as the fact that you guys are going to put it in our town, you're going to destroy what? We already are cutting down our resources for condos and other things that, I mean, I'm sorry, we're overpopulated as it is. We have enough traffic, we have enough everything at this point. And you guys are just cutting down our resources, ruining our animals. I see foxes, rabbits where I live that have nowhere to go because you guys are building these condos and these things that we really do not need. But it's for profit, and I understand that. I get that from the point of view, I guess, of what you guys decide to accept. But I think that growing a database in our town is just even more harmful than 45 condos that you guys want to build and cut down forests and kill our animals and do whatever you guys would like to do. So I think that I don't want to say postpone. I would like for you guys to ban it. It's honestly disrespectful to this town. And what if your daughter's face was online on AI doing God knows what with that technology? How would you feel? You don't know what this stuff does online. Have you even went online and looked up AI or even like introduce yourself to these databases and these incorporations or anything? It's just as bad as, oh, one photo of my daughter, her life is ruined. Just her face alone, her life can be ruined. You have to think about that. Your sons, your daughters, everything. So I don't want this at all. I don't want it in my town. I don't want it even in this country. But that's not in my hands. So all I'm asking is that you guys considerate all of that and hopefully think about it and just don't do it. Not a very smart idea. So that's all I have to say.
Yes.
Hi, yes, Benjamin Hornbeck, 7 Driftwood Drive. Couple speakers back, I believe a gentleman said that there was Chinese disinformation being spread about AI and data centers and all that. And while I don't know a lot about China, one thing I do know is that currently they are going through a large economic crisis, mainly caused by a housing bubble where all the people were forced by their government to only invest in housing. And once they built all this housing and no one lived there, that housing market crashed and all that, let's put that money away for later, this will be what we'll retire on, all that disappeared. And what I'm seeing with AI is the exact same thing that China did with their housing, where we have all these data companies who say, in the future, we'll have this great AGI, it'll solve all your jobs, you won't have to work. And they use this goodwill to put private companies, which they say, we're never going to use these for profit. We're never going to, this is just for the good of humanity. And then 2 or 3 years time after they realize, they're unprofitable and they need to get more and more cash, they, IPO onto the public stock market and they ask us, all the residents, of the common citizen for money to subsidize them. And, when we look at something like this data center being built in our town, what we're seeing is another subsidy to a company, which is adding no value to the people of the country or to the people of the town. When we, as it was brought up earlier, these companies are not profitable and they will need to be the data storage, units, the GPUs and all that are being put in these data centers will need to be restocked in 3 years' time. But by the time they're restocked, they're not being made profit. So it's just a circular system being taken out of our tax dollars, being taken out of our retirement funds for this thing that is not working. And another thing that I would say that if we're on disinformation here is that a lot of these CEOs for these companies, they call people who are anti-AI, proliferation of tech, they call these people terrorists. They call them Antifa. They say that these people are dangerous to our country. And I would think, as a town council, if someone is coming into your town and calling the people who are concerned about something terrorists and are bad-mouthing them, I would think I would not want to do business with those people. We are the citizens of this town. We live in this town. And we are not terrorists. We are not horrible people for wanting our town to just be something where we can live for the future. But instead, you want to work with these people and you want to push it off in the future when we forget about this and then go and shake their hands. And I'm just thinking, in a couple years' time, we know the environmental damages. This council, in the past already has lawsuit pending from bus depots, poisoning people from a mosque, which was, seeing that people on the council were double dealing with that mosque. And we know that people on this council were taking money from a billionaire, Harlan Crow. And I'm just thinking, if we know these billionaires don't care about the people of the town, we know that they need people of this town to survive. What are they going to do to get this built? And I just don't think as one of the future generations, I don't think that we need this in our town. And yeah, that's that.
Good evening. My name is Rodrigo Bonet, and I am from 34 North Edward Street. Initially,
Your name again, sir?
Rodrigo Bonet. Initially, I didn't plan on coming and talking, but I felt compelled to talk after hearing everybody talk. You've recently heard from my wife. We recently moved to Sayreville. Our plan is to hopefully grow a family here, somewhere healthy, somewhere safe, and somewhere that's a good place to live. Now, I know we've heard many angles on how AI data centers will impact our town, they impact society. And I like to look at it in 2 different lenses. One is financially, and the other one is environmental and / how it's going to impact our way of life. If we look at it financially, we had a gentleman come in earlier and talk about how water recirculates itself and how data centers won't use up many resources. But based on what data and limited data we have right now from existing data centers, it increases utility costs from electricity costs and water utility costs. So if you really care about our finances and you care about what it's going to cost the consumer or cost the resident, then you probably don't want to have a data center in your town. It will cost us more. It'll increase our water costs. Why? Because yes, it does recirculate water, but you need to provide that water initially, and that water evaporates eventually. Now, technology has maybe caught up or enhanced since those other initial data centers were looked at, but that technology is not there yet. The first gentleman that spoke about technology. The technology is being developed. What I think we need to consider is looking at the history of Sayreville and Middlesex County. There's a reason that this area of New Jersey has become known for being a Superfund site and Superfund hot zone, because we have a lot of councilmen like yourselves and councilwomen like yourselves that jump to the opportunity for investment in your town and also to line your own pockets, if we're being really honest. And you act without thinking about the future consequences, because at that point, you probably won't be living in this town. So what I'm saying is that let's not become another Superfund site. Why? Because we don't realize what implications this technology will have on us. We've seen this before with manufacturing companies, with pharmaceutical companies. We've seen it time and time again with many companies with their own personal interests promising us a lot of money, a lot of prosperity, without being fully honest about what exactly their manufacturing or their technology could do to negatively impact our society or our town. Now, from a financial perspective, right? I will say, and I'm a realist, and I have looked at some of the data. It can increase some housing prices. So I'm not coming at it at an angle where I'm not looking at both sides of the coin, because there is some promise here. I'm not looking at it as we should completely ignore data centers, because eventually we'll need them. Now, because to that point, what we should be looking at is how can we honestly and safely invest in this technology in our town. And if you all can say, hey, we can invest in it without having any negative impact, then I'm on your side to please invest in data centers. But that's not going to happen. Why? Because we don't have the data. And if you want to make an investment without looking at the numbers, if you want to line your own pockets, if you're going to benefit from it, I'm not saying everybody will, then we really can't control it. So 2 things I'm asking for. One is, let's not become another Superfund site in 5 years and 10 years when we will see the true negative implications of these data centers. And 2, let's look at a permanent ban. Somebody mentioned that this 18-month ban is a little bit of a facade, if you really think about it. Because if you really wanted to, you could repeal that. In order to make that permanent, and I want everybody to be aware of this, they need to change code, they need to change the law in the town, and we need to hold them accountable for this. With that, please don't let Sayreville become a Superfund site.
Hi, Council. My name is Emily LaMonica, 3409 Washington Road. I am a 4th-generation Sayreville resident. If you've ever known a Bauman, that's my family. I'm a librarian as well. And as a librarian, I frankly want to ask, why would Sayreville want to invest in the decline of our kids' mental health and critical thinking skills? AI users, especially those with still developing brains, have been shown to have decreased abilities to think and solve problems. I've seen this firsthand in my career. I have seen kids in the library affected by AI. I have read stories about kids who have lost their lives due to their relationship with AI. And I, in good conscience, can't support that in our town. Also, why would we destroy Sayreville's health and quality of life even more to line the pockets of tech billionaires? It's not guaranteed that the people of Sayreville will benefit monetarily or have a better quality of life at all due to a data center. We've already succumbed to massive pollution from DuPont. Our community cannot afford more. I've seen illness in my family, in family members of friends, in people I've known and respected for my entire life. Since New York and 26 other municipalities in the state have banned data centers completely, what's stopping us? As a younger person, this will not necessarily affect my health immediately, but will affect the health of Sayreville's most vulnerable, like my family members over 90, and it will also affect those of nearby townships as well. I frankly think this is a selfish decision that will ripple outwards to those outside of the borough. It is a decision that will not only affect Sayreville, but other vulnerable people in Middlesex County. We want our people, both young and old, to thrive. How will this attract families to Sayreville? How will this affect Sayreville businesses? News about data centers is national and becomes national because of the controversy surrounding it. This will leave a stain on this town that I love, do nothing good to our legacy. And the technology itself is not yet reliable. With what other people have said about waiting 10 years, 15 years, it's certainly possible that it will become sustainable for use. But as of right now, that is 100% not yet proven. Since it's not yet reliable, Council, can I ask you to be reliable both to the people both in this room and in the township as a whole, and consider a full ban on data centers in Sayreville? Thank you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sheridan, and I am a resident at 11 Fordon Court, Sayreville, New Jersey. I have lived in Sayreville for about 4 years, and my husband has been a homeowner here since 2019. It's encouraging to see so many people here tonight because it shows just how invested we all are in the prosperity and livability of our town. Like so many here, I'm concerned about the environmental impacts of data centers, and while some would argue that the tax breaks and other economic benefits greatly outweigh the environmental consequences, I don't think that's true. We frequently hear about there being an AI bubble, and I want to spend a little time discussing why this is the case. AI usage has no path to profitability, and the impending crash will be in both business and speculative real estate losses. Let's put some numbers to it. I think most of us have heard by this point that OpenAI loses $57 million per day, and Anthropic, the closest American AI company to reaching profitability, has lost $3 billion in 2025 alone. Since around 2022, these systems have been financed through venture capital, and while that made perfect sense in the development stage, we are firmly in the operational stage where these companies need to start turning a profit and prepare to move to the public markets. And how is that going? These companies have moved from flat rate billing to token pricing for their business clients, and users have seen their costs skyrocket. One developer using GitHub's Copilot noted that with this change, he expects the increase in his monthly cost to be over 1,300%. The scale back is dramatic. Uber burned through its entire 2026 AI budget within 4 months and has imposed strict AI caps. Starbucks killed its AI inventory system because it could not distinguish between cow's milk and oat milk, and 3/4 of companies with customer-facing AI interfaces have shut theirs down entirely. 1 month ago, both AI and Anthropic have started slashing prices, with one tech journalist noting that this would be in the range of 10 to 40 times below actual cost in order to hold on to customers, since even the largest companies cannot afford these costs and poor outputs. In addition to showing that there isn't a path to profit, these case studies show that demand practically disappears once these tools are provided at cost. And with Anthropic looking to IPO in October of this year and OpenAI not far behind, these companies will have to turn a profit or fold sooner than they might think. Now, where does the real estate part come in? In case it's not clear to everyone in the room, the compute need for these models is created through data centers. And not only is it one of the heaviest cost centers for AI companies, it's also one of the slowest builds. According to Pew Research, there are around 3,000 data centers in the United States right now, and as of April, more than 1,500 new data centers are in the development stages. It takes 18 to 36 months from data center announcement to operation, optimistically, and all signs point to the fact that tech companies have greatly overpromised their actual need. Meta announced 2 weeks ago that it would start selling excess AI compute, and this past Friday, Oracle had its credit rating downgraded from one level above junk, specifically due to its overinvestment in open AI data centers. Demand is starting to slow, or at the very least, the fluid business changes. It's happening. If the signs are already showing that the build out of planned data centers is already overstretched, why should we commit ourselves to building what will inevitably be a vacant warehouse at best and a money drain at worst? We need to be very realistic about the risks that these data centers expose us to. And I would rather see Sayreville be a town for people and not servers. Taxpayers should not be on the hook for this economic failure, and I support a total ban of AI data centers.
Anyone on this side of the room wish to make a comment? Ken?
Thank you, Mayor. Ken Olszewski, Sayreville. I've been around for a long time. My family is here from the 1860s. My grandfather was a freeholder elected from Sayreville to Middlesex County in 1895, and he built the building next door, the firehouse, which we've had so many disputes and issues with. I've sat here all night and I've listened to the people, and I believe the biggest issue with the people that are here tonight is fear. I think they're afraid of what might happen. They're afraid of the unknown. We don't want to be guinea pigs here. I'm not against data centers. I'm a guy that's involved in a lot of tech, a lot of stuff on Wall Street. I'm not against data centers. I'm against data centers here and now in the places, because we talk about the preferred site for data centers would be Hercules property. And then we got to talk about Laurel Park and the Kaplan development, which was in back of the old Roosevelt School, the condos that are off of Journey Mill Road. They're too damn close. People are worried about the water. The electric, I'm worried about the electric. I've lived here all my life, and I can assure you it's a lot of years. I don't want to go into how many, but it's a lot of years. And I've never had so many electrical outages at my home in the last 4 or 5 years than I've had in 50 years before that. So we're going to bring in data. We have a third-rate utility in this town. Not your fault, not my fault, but Jersey Central Power and Light is a third-rate utility. That's a fact. If you don't think so, read about them and their parent company. A lot of people in their parent company are in prison right now. So the people are afraid. They're afraid about the noise from the places I just cited, and from some others. And we're also concerned about the fact that this governing body does not have a good record of trust. You took away our Zoom. You're giving people pilots like we give out candy for Halloween. Somebody here was pretty much on target when they talked about Trammell Crow. That's a multi-billion-dollar corporation. We gave them a pilot over here for the mega warehouses on Cheesequake Road. You know what that pilot they're estimating could cost the borough over its 30-year life, the taxpayers? Over $100 million. And you sit here and talk about we need ratables? We need ratables. We need full ratables. We need everybody to pay their fair share and to pay their way. Things have not gone well with this firehouse. There's been a lot of fighting over it. I don't want to get into that now because that's not the proper time, but we all know that. They've tried for months and months, as I said here, to make it a historic designation. It's turned down.
And you got to stick to the data. We're talking about the data centers.
I'm just talking about the lack of confidence in the borough, Mayor. I know I'm not going to Another
You can
lack
come
of
back,
confidence.
you can come back for that.
Yeah, I will. Another lack of confidence. I won't go into details, but it's this affordable housing. It's not an accident, the mess you see here. So the people, they fear what's going on. I'm concerned about it, but at my stage of life, look, I can get out of town if I have to, if it really gets that bad. And I don't have that much time. I'm worried about the young people. I'm worried about the people who have families. I'm worried about the children. I don't want this to turn, and it's not a good record here in Saraville. I don't want this to turn from Saraville and to be renamed Developerville. And you know what they say about Developerville? Everybody is familiar with the old song, I'm sure. Wasting away again in Developerville, searching for that next tree to assault. Some people claim there's a developer to blame, but really it's the politicians' fault. Thank you very much.
Anyone on this side of the room have another, yes, come on up, please.
Hi, I'm Rick Zinna, 32 Patton Drive. We spoke about this at the last meeting. We were saying last time about, we were talking about the water, the excess water, and you were talking about that there's going to be gray water that's going to be donated to us from some other company that's getting rid of it, and that's all fine until you have to pass that water out or it evaporates, and then we need new water. And then the electric, people that live close to high tension lines have gotten a higher case of cancer than people that don't. You know, I mean, it was right there in Green Valley. Couple of people had cancer from the overhead power lines. So we're going to be bringing in more power lines. And he said these things could take three years to build. By the time they start, till the time they finish, it'll probably be outdated, whatever they started with. It's moving so fast. So we're going to have, either going to have to add on to this thing, you know, you say it might start off small, and then in 3 years, say, well, things have improved so much, we got to make it bigger, or like somebody said, we're going to abandon it. And that's it. So you're going to have the negative impact of excess water, electric, exposing people to potential cancer risk, and the pollution. Now, last couple of days, there was supposed to be some really nice things going on in the sky. Anybody see any stars lately? You can't. There's so much light pollution now that you're going to bring in more stuff. We'll never even see a star. And the noise level, you can't say, even though it's going to be down in the pit, you're still going to hear the hum. Like I said about the animals. Got to think about that. And then I know they say jobs, and I know that the guys that are in the trades, you know, they could build this building, but once this building is done, there's no work for them. Be two or three people operating it, and what if these guys in town don't get the job? What if the bid goes out to someone else, like someone else said? There's no guarantee that our guys are going to get it or maintain it. Just like the phone company, you know what I mean? Like they come in and they get a problem. The guys come in from out of town. You don't get local guys taking care of your problems or your TV or your cable. And it's the other thing with the cable coming in, it's just another expense. They come in low, and 3 months later, the bill's up there. When Cross Country came in, I sold that. Cable was $7, $7.50 for cable. What's that, $200 people are paying? It happens with everything. And the tax break that we're supposed to get. What are we getting out of the warehouses over there in the arsenal? What are we getting out of all the condos? What are we getting out of all the other apartments? Every time we build and we take more land, and it's supposed to be a tax benefit, when has anybody's taxes gone down? Did anybody's taxes gone down? Not at all. They're still going up. And education. Now, when I was in high school, we had split sessions. So that would be something to consider. If we get a lot more people moving into town, before we start building more schools, we can go back on split sessions. We did it before. And the other thing too, with kids coming into town, like everybody's saying with the AI, it's not a good thing. You know what I mean? Like, you know, these kids, they can't even think. They're all in with their thumbs all the time. And the parents just like, you know, give a kid, a 2-year-old kid in a shopping cart, playing with a cell phone. They don't even think anymore. So it's not a good thing. And we're contributing to that by building a center that we don't need. So I don't understand, like a couple of you guys last week voted for, turn it down, a permanent ban, but a few of you said, no, let's just go with the 1-year moratorium and we'll look at it again. Like somebody said, why go through this again? Let's just end it right now. We don't want it. I don't think a lot of people here don't want it. Maybe the contractors want it, but that's a temporary job. Once it's done, they're done. That's it.
Anyone on this side of the room with a question? Dan?
Good evening, Mayor Council. Dan Buchanan, 180 West Coast Street, Morgan section of Saraville. First and foremost, I am opposed to a moratorium on the data centers. However, I believe that you have no choice at this point to vote for it, but I request that you make a motion to amend it immediately and go for a full, complete ban. It preserves our right. 20 years ago, the council voted on expanding the water treatment plant, and we were sold the bill of goods that said that we'd be selling the water. Council meeting after council meeting, we hear that we are in a water shortage to preserve the water, yet we're still not selling that water. So we were presented something beautiful, and we got nothing out of it beneficial to the town. We were supposed to be bringing money in, but yet we didn't. This too will be the same. There's verified facts out there about water usage. You've heard residents out here complaining about their power going out. These are things that are going to be continuing to go on. An 18-month moratorium, there's going to be 2 elections at that point. There's going to be 5 new people, potentially. I'm not saying that you'll lose your elections, but there's potentially 5 new people going to be up here. Don't punt to them. You're listening to the residents now. Listen to them and vote for them, the people that you're supposed to represent. We hear that the power goes down and there'll be a buzzing sound from the generator, but there's also going to be cooling fans. There's going to be a constant buzzing, and the residents are going to be hearing that. There's verified fact that too is going to make them lose sleep in the close vicinity. We have residential areas, we have schools. We don't want to put it in this town. It's too compact as it is. Let's put it to someone else. What else? Again, I am opposed to AI data centers in here. I think that for the benefit and preserving our right, we should pass this moratorium, but immediately do an amendment to ban it for good. The majority of the residents in this room tonight have spoken. Councilman Zabrowski, you heard on your poll that the majority of the residents don't want it. There's no reason. We heard last council meeting that there was discussions about a potential pilot there. So that concerns me that there's an application pending. And if that's the case, get this moratorium in now and then rewrite it for a permanent ban. So thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to comment on this ordinance? There being no one else, entertain a motion to close the public portion and vote on the ordinance.
Mayor, I move the public hearing be closed, the ordinance adopted on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
Is there a second? Roll call.
Councilperson Zabrowski.
Yes, and would comment. First and foremost, thank you all for coming out tonight and being as courteous as you are and as eloquent as you are in coming up and speaking about this ban. Quite frankly, it's wonderful to have a packed house and be able to hear everybody's thoughts on this and understand we're in agreement. A ban is a ban. Understand that 95% of Sayreville already has a permanent ban. So you're talking about a small piece, not small, but a portion of the property in Sayreville that was already an industrial tract. That since 2012, a data center was a permitted use. That data centers have been around since the 50s. So while I think a permanent ban may at some point come down, I think the most logical reason and the most thoughtful thing is to have the 18-month moratorium or the temporary ban. And why? Because a permanent ban can be changed tomorrow, just as much as a moratorium can be changed. Don't be fooled in the idea that once you ban it, it doesn't come back. Because just as Dan said, that 5 new people can come back and say, we're going to vote for it. And you can shake your head and say no, but I'm going to tell you, we both want the same thing. We don't want to harm our town. We want to keep it pristine and do the best we can. The way we're doing it is a little bit different. And that's okay, because sometimes we disagree about that. But we all agree that we don't move forward until we understand what this is about. And we need to build a toolbox, and we need to build a regulatory policy and specifications to understand everything that impacts our town. And we can do that. Can we do it in 18 months? Maybe not. Then you have to extend it. But can we start today to do that? The absolute answer to that is yes. And we should be. And we should be doing that for all you, those Generation Zs who are here today and want to continue to stay here. So you talk about mitigation, and I agree. You have to mitigate. If you're going to be able to produce specifications, it has to be something that would fit, if it could fit in our town. Talking about AI hyperscalers, I can't imagine that piece of property would even be able to handle a hyperscaler. But there are other types of AI data centers that are out there as well. And I'm not saying we want any one of them, but we need to know what could potentially happen to our town. And that's why I advocate for being smart and trying to go forward and understanding what they are and put those rules in effect. Because if you do it all for one ban, you're going to end up with a town like Andover, who's already in litigation because they have nothing to back the reason why they said no. I'm saying build the toolbox, build the information that you've all been asking for and say, this is the only thing that'll exist and this is the only way we can do it. And I think we can do it at that time through 18 months, or if it takes longer, it takes longer. But if you do a permanent ban today with nothing to back it up, you put the borough in a bad position. I don't know if it was Ken or whoever else said that we usually lose lawsuits. Well, you know why? Because normally we act too quickly and we don't think about it. And then what happens? Then someone else controls what can be built. And we don't want to do that. We want to control what can be built in our town. I've lived this town my entire life. My family grew up here. I grew up here. My kids are keeping roots. So I understand exactly what you want to say. James, my kids went to school with you, and I'm glad to see you here today. So I am voting for the 18-month moratorium, and that's the reason for my vote for doing that. And I hope you're curious to understand that's my reasoning as much as I'm curious to understand and appreciate your own reasoning as well.
Blumer.
Well, I think everyone here and everybody in this room understands that 18 months is a farce. Why is it a farce? Because everybody's talking about, this or that, but the bottom line is we don't have any way of cooling these GPUs and the CPUs in the systems. And then we don't have anything coming down the pike that's going to take 18 months to figure it out. Okay? So to say that we're going to be sued because we don't have anything to back it up, I don't think that's correct, because we do have everything to back it up with. Number one, we don't have the room to accommodate a data center. It's going to, everything that you guys said in terms of how it's going to affect us negatively, I agree with. There's not one positive when it comes to data centers. Everybody keeps saying jobs, jobs, jobs. Yes, of course, when they're building it, there's going to be jobs. Okay, but once that happens, once it's done, there's going to be what? Maybe you're going to need, well, you're going to need security, physical security to keep people from, what tax revenue?
Hey, you have to keep order. So I'd ask that the public portion was the time to come up. Now it's the time to take the vote and to listen what the different council people are saying.
Yeah, the tax revenue, jobs, nonsense. Okay, we all know that there's not going to be any jobs here. I don't understand why we would want to have something in our town that will affect the quality of our lives. Okay, I mean, we are building through everything. It seems like there's an empty space. Let's put something there. Okay, and right now it makes no sense unless we can amend this to, like Dan says, to have a permanent ban. My vote is no.
Parisi.
Well, I'm going to be a yes right now because it is a ban and it's going to happen tonight. We amend it. It's weeks away. What's our next one? A month? So this is an A-team. John makes a lot of sense. You're going to jump in and it could hurt us in the long run. It really can. So right now, I'm a yes. I'd like to collect all the information. It's just like mostly everybody out there. We're not data center experts. So let's figure it out together. And we already voted bipartisanly when we introduced this. Let's finish the job. Let's ban it now and find out what's the next steps. Because 18 months, doesn't matter who's up here. They'll have all that information. So let's just hold up. There's no applications there. So I think a lot of people forget this. It's one piece of property here. No applications. So let's figure it out together. So I'm sorry, that's my answer.
Novak.
I am really very happy with so many people coming out. I mean, I haven't seen this in years and I've been sitting up here a long time. I'm going to vote yes, but here's the reason. In this state, once the application is presented, it's too late. So if this isn't passed tonight, anybody could go before the planning board with an application and then we can just pound salt because it's too late. That's what this state allows. I am not in favor of this at all. I don't like the whole idea of having a time limit on it. If we pass a ban, Councilman Zabrowski's right, we could change that. But guess what? We'd have to bring it back before you people with an ordinance. This just disappears in 18 months and we never have to bring it back before you at all. If it's a total ban, then if 5 years, 10 years, or even a year, if we decide to do something, we got to bring it back to you. It's got to be an ordinance that has first reading. And then the next meeting is a public meeting before we get to vote on it. If this 18 months, because it has a time limit on it, it just basically is taking it out of the residents' hands about speaking about this again. So saying it could change with a total ban, yes, it could. But we'd have to get your permission again to do it. So I'm going to vote for the 18-month ban. And like former Councilman Buchanan said, I would like to see immediately afterwards a motion for a permanent ban. Thank you.
Rios.
So I'm being forced to vote yes on it because I'd rather have 18 than nothing. And like Mary said, I'd rather have 18 months than nothing. But I do have a couple questions. The ordinance says the borough needs time to conduct engineering studies, fiscal analysis and planning review. Are we ready to do that right away, or how long are we gonna wait to do those things? Because we have 18 months.
I don't mind answering that question, because I can tell you that Sarah has already begun to have that discussion. I know prior to you taking a position on Sarah, that was part of the discussion. And some people were right when they said that Sarah was discussing it in the possibility that Hercules would be looking for a data center at that location. So the job of the Economic Redevelopment Agency is specifically to do that, to determine what might be good or bad, and then what could be the rules and the specifications, along with our engineer and our planner and all our other professionals. And if we don't have a professional, we would get a professional on that. But I think that to say that we wouldn't and we haven't, that would not be correct.
Okay. And then as of July 20th, has any complete development application or redevelopment application for a data center already been filed with the borough as of today?
I can say, Mayor, it's not that I'm aware of as legal counsel, but I don't usually get involved until it gets further down the road, but I'm not aware of any.
So if we pass this tonight, we'll be protected.
Yes.
Then my vote is yes.
Zanarski.
Still a yes for the data centers. I'm learning a lot more. I am super happy with all the amount of people here. And it's not only the people that I see here. No matter where we go, people bring up the topic of data centers. I don't know enough about them yet. That's why we put the 18 months on it. I feel we're going to know a lot more within the next year to have this, whether we ban it or not. But at that time, I'll know my vote better than I do now. So I'm still a yes right now.
Right, next item.
Public hearing on ordinance number 16-26, ordinance amending the borough's rules and regulations for borough parks and recreational areas.
Okay, this time I'm going to open the public portion for questions or comments on this ordinance. Are there questions? Yes, please come up.
Hello, my name is Edward, 19 Chatham Square, Parlin. Bear with me, this is all connected. I'm a lifelong resident of Saraville. Parts of my family have lived here for more than 3 generations. My roots run deep here. I came here regarding the AI data centers, but I have something important to talk about. It was recently announced that the borough
Edward, we're gonna talk about this ordinance right now.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
I'm talking about the parks. It was recently announced that the borough received a state grant for improvements at Felix Park. I lived on Marsh Avenue for nearly 30 years. My family lives there. I visit the park often, more than most. I'm there nearly every day. I visited the place regularly for over half of my life. I know the park intimately. I'm an amateur naturalist and bird watcher. I could create a list of hundreds of species that visit or reside in the park, from as large as muskrats and turtles to as small as tree hoppers and as rare as Ross's goose, a migratory bird that was documented in the county only 3 times. We have resident species like the Cooper's hawk nesting in the park and controlling rodent populations. Lots of native plant species have proven vital for our ecosystem and are present here. I reached out to the borough 2 years ago when landscapers cut down swamp milkweed by the pond. The plant supports endangered monarch butterfly caterpillars. Someone from the council who was affiliated with the Shade Tree Committee read my emails and voiced concern over it. A buffer zone was enforced on the edge of the pond to protect those plants. That work was important to me as a constituent, and I was proud of my home when I saw that. I've also reached out to the police for people driving in the park as vehicles are prohibited. The borough put up signs regarding that, which was helpful, though enforcement is kind of scant. I've been present when kids lit fireworks during a drought and started a fire. After kids have vandalized the playground several times, broken the park benches into splinters, where people have ridden dirt bikes and ATVs into the park with children under 10 on them without helmets. There's a softball group on the weekend that comes and openly drinks alcohol and lights a bonfire in the park, sometimes illegally parking their 20 vehicles. There's some recklessness here that goes unchecked. I'm saying this to illustrate that I really care. I'm always cleaning up litter after people in the park. I don't just like the park, I have a relationship with the land. When the borough calls for improving Felix Park, what is improvement? Does improvement mean making a sustainable, conscious park where people can recreate and find joy? Or does it just mean more pavement and development? To be clear, I understand the park is mixed use. Sports are great. They create community. Kids have great memories playing on a team. We should make our parks more welcoming for those situations. I want people to love and enjoy the place as much as I do. People should have access to sports facilities. But I want to stress that this is not the only function and important use of a park like this for the community. A park like this is more than just a place for sports. This place is surprisingly biodiverse, and this borough has lost crucial land for luxury apartments and warehouses. Every inch of land we have left is vital to our future. I want to see people live in neighborhoods where they can connect to the environment they live in, not just play a sport. We can have both, and the desire for facilities shouldn't harm the park's environment. I'm imploring the borough to go about this project in a way that minimizes environmental impact and protects the life that flourishes in this park. My concerns are as follows. 1, permanently keep non-emergency vehicles out of the park. The lot at the end of Marsh Avenue is perfect as a parking area with additional parking on Forest Ave and the side of Highland Drive. We have sacrificed swaths of land to car-dependent infrastructure, and we should have beautiful areas that are free of cars to bring balance. Efforts are necessary to keep vehicles out of the park. 2, maintain the ecosystem without harm. The park is rife with native species. If anything, some of the grant should be spent on environmental support and rehab. The pond has 40 years of garbage in it and constantly gets covered with algae due to a lack of circulation and aeration. Something that makes the pond more stable while respecting wildlife would be great, as would planting more native plants rather than just grass, which serves no environmental purpose. Trees provide shade and shade provides cooling. None should be removed. Ensure field lighting of any of the sports facilities does not exceed the tree line. Obviously, you don't want lights going into your neighbors' backyards in the middle of the night. Please consider the people around the neighborhood. 4, protect this park with more care than before. As I mentioned, various people have done things that could fall under criminal mischief, destruction of property, or disturbing the peace here. Making sure conduct befits the park atmosphere is important. The things that have happened here would not be tolerated at a park like Kennedy Park, and they shouldn't be tolerated here either. So please understand, I'm communicating this only out of concern for my community and to speak for a place I love. You have people advocating for pickleball courts, lights for the fields. Sports are good, but I'm here to advocate for the park itself. Building a better future comes from decisions like the ones you can make with that park, and I hope you make the right decision. Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments on this ordinance? There being no other questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion. Councilman Kalasi.
So, Mr. Nareco, I appreciate you coming up here and stating all of that. You know, we do try. And like for the monarch butterfly, and takes years to build up that milkweed again. So, you know, I took that to heart, and I appreciate even giving us the education about stuff like that. So, yes, we do work a lot on our parks for our children and for our future. But with an incident like that, we do keep in mind that let's help protect certain species here. So also, you know, I frequent the parks a lot. And, you know, at the beginning of this season, you know, I was at Kennedy Park, and it was like the first nicest day. It was a Sunday, and there was a ton of e-bikes, ton of them. And they're not only riding on the grass, and they were actually on the pathways and going into the skate park. You know, kids want to skate, and they're interfering, trying to jump on the little things. But, you know, e-bikes have become reckless, and, you know, we need to update this ordinance, and I'm proud that we did. And I'm sure it'll continue to get updated throughout the time. So I'd like to I move this public hearing be closed, the ordinance adopted on second and final reading, and advertised according to law.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Khaleesi.
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes.
Novak.
Yes.
Rios.
Yes.
Nazarski,
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes, and I just want to make one comment. Ed, great job. I've known your parents forever. We all learned how to swim in Sulphur Pond. And I do see you walking all the time, and I do see that you clean everything up, and you did an eloquent job tonight.
Okay, next item. Okay. So on the Library Board of Trustees, I had a very long time person who was my representative, and she has done more than her service to the borough. That being said, what I did, I took an existing trustee, Mitch Cooper, and I made him my representative this week. And in his place, I've been given the name of a woman named Ursula Van Wan by Leah Clark, who is our library director. I did run, ask some other members of the library board, and they're unanimous endorsement. So I would like to appoint Ursula to Mitch Cooper's unexpired term on the library as a trustee. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Novak,
Yes.
Mayor,
Yes.
Parisi,
Yes.
Rios,
Yes.
Stanarski,
Yes.
Bobrowski. Introduction of the following ordinance, ordinance number 17-26, Borough of Saraville, County of Middlesex, an ordinance accepting deed of dedication and easements from Parlin Section 1 Urban Renewal LLC.
Councilman Zabrowski?
I move the ordinance be approved on first reading, advertised according to law, and a public hearing to be held on, our next meeting is August 17th.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilperson Zabrowski.
Yes.
Blumer,
Yes.
Parisi,
Yes.
Novak,
Yes.
Rios,
Yes.
Stanarski.
Yes.
Public portion on the
Okay,
resolution.
at this time, I'm going to open the public portion for questions or comments on the resolutions, which is number 7 on the agenda. Are there any questions or comments on the consent agenda? There being none, I will entertain a motion. Council President.
Move the public hearing be closed and the consent agenda resolutions be approved on roll call vote.
As written,
As written.
subject to corrections. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilperson Zabrowski.
Yes, and again, particular attention to 2026-204, which is a referendum for the increase in the LoSAP contributions, which will be for our first responders. Keep in mind that this ordinance has never been revised. Well, I shouldn't say it has never been revised. It was revised for the CPI, but it's never been revised for the initial contribution for our fire and first aiders. And this will be that opportunity for those voters to do that. So yes.
Blumer,
Yes.
Parisi,
Yeah, that ordinance, John, 2026-204 is long overdue. That's a yes.
Novak,
Yes, but that ordinance was, when we first put it in there, it was back in the 90s and it was only $500. It was raised once since the original one, but I'm in favor of it.
Rios,
Yes.
Stanarski.
Yes.
Okay, a motion to accept the correspondence that's listed.
Council President,
Accept.
is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilperson Zabrowski, Blumer,
Yes.
Parisi,
Yes.
Novak,
Yes.
Rios,
Yes.
Stanarski.
Yes.
Mayor and Council.
Okay, Mayor and Council, reports, Administration of Finance, Councilwoman Novak.
Yes, Mayor. I can't tell you how much less agita I'm going to have now that the budget is passed. There's so many things that you don't realize that when you only are working on a temporary budget, when you first put that in place, you're thinking, by 3 months into the year, you're going to have a permanent budget. And this dragged on a little longer than we would have liked. I'm glad that we did bring it down substantially. And I'm just going to say I'll probably have a few weeks off with that. But since I'm the first one to speak, I would like to make a motion that we amend or maybe just another ordinance entirely to ban data centers completely.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Novak,
Yes.
Blumer,
Absolutely.
Khaleesi,
I don't really understand where this came from, but, you know, this is a little redundant. Now, we just said we were doing a permanent ban, and then when that 18-month is up, we do it again. So, that's a no right now.
Rios,
Yes.
Sinarski,
We just went through this and I said I want to learn more about these and I'm still a no.
Zabrowski,
No.
Mayor 3-3.
All right, so I'm in favor of getting more information. I'm not afraid of information, so I'm gonna vote no on it. Okay, Public Safety, Councilman Blamore.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good
You done?
evening,
Are you
everyone.
done? Oh, I'm sorry, Mary wasn't
I
done.
wanted to make a motion that we give the firehouse next door, the First Borough Hall, local historic preservation status.
Second.
What, Mary?
I want to give the building next door local preservation, historic preservation
Could you
status.
explain what local preservation is, please?
In order for us to be able to apply for grants for historical preservation, the local municipality must designate it as an historical site within the town. Other than that, we cannot go out for grants. And that's why I want it done.
Okay. Go ahead.
Mayor, just so I'm clear, so what I need to do if it passes, when you say local, are you saying, are we seeking to register with anything, or we're just making a declaration on behalf of the municipality that it's a historic? I just need to know what next steps would need to be done if adopted.
If we have, well, as soon as the town gives it local historical preservation status, we can apply for grants. We would probably set up a committee. Matter of fact, I think a committee is part of it that has to be done that will handle all of the, and we would set up the committee, everything that was going to happen with the building.
So is that municipality?
That's right. Yeah, not about the grants part. I mean, is it going to be registering this with the state, with the federal, with any historic group, or is it just resolution declaring that the borough of Sayreville finds it to be a historic
Yes.
structure? Okay, so it's the former. It's just the borough. Okay, I just wanted to make sure what I needed to do.
Okay, continue to vote.
Is there a second?
Yes.
Okay.
Novak,
Yes.
Blumer,
Yes.
Khaleesi,
Yes.
Rios,
Yes.
Sinarski,
I am a yes for making the old firehouse historical. Long as it's for what we're understand that it's going to be, the borough still has the authority to build it the way they want, where it doesn't have to be built with historical bricks and everything else, and it could still be carried on the way the original plan is. Yes, the original plan has to be adjusted as far as the facade goes or the elevator. That's something we could talk about. But as far as being a local historic building, not municipal, not state, I am for local Sayreville making it historical.
Zabrowski,
Yes.
Okay, Councilman, are you done, Mary?
Yeah.
Okay.
Progress.
Councilman Blamore, Public Safety.
Again, good evening, everyone. I'd like to take a moment to recognize and thank all of our public safety professionals, our police department, fire department, OEM, PBA, and EMS for everything you do each and every day to keep our borough safe. Your dedication, professionalism, and willingness to serve our community are deeply appreciated. I also want to give a special thank you to our police department for another outstanding Youth Academy graduation that occurred on the eve of Independence Day, July 3rd. Congratulations to the 40 graduates who completed this year's program. Initiatives like the Youth Academy give our young residents the opportunity to learn about law enforcement, build positive relationships with our officers, and develop a greater appreciation for public service. Thank you to everyone who helped make the program such a success. Lastly, I'd like to invite everyone in the borough to join us for National Night Out on August 4th from 5 to 8 p.m. at War Memorial Park. It's a wonderful family event featuring a live DJ, bounce houses, I'm going to take advantage of that, police vehicles and equipment on display, and a chance to meet the officers and first responders who proudly serve our community. We hope to see everyone there as we come together for an evening of fun, community, and support for our public safety professionals. Thank you.
Public Works, Councilman Rios.
Good evening, Mayor, Council President, fellow council members, business administrator, borough attorney, department heads, and residents. First, I'd like to thank our Public Works Department for everything they've been doing following the recent storms. Crews are still out picking up branches throughout town and continuing the important work of cleaning our storm sewer system. Now, I'd like to address the opportunities that we do have. Weber Avenue Pump Station is in need of repairs. We're currently waiting on a replacement pump and several other necessary parts before those repairs can move forward. Melrose Firehouse, we're continuing to work through issues with the fire suppression system. The vendor is searching for a compressor that's compatible with the existing equipment. If one cannot be found, the entire system will need to be replaced. We're doing the best we can with the equipment and resources we have while working toward a permanent solution. That said, it's a good thing that we adopted the budget because we're already behind on several stormwater permit requirements, including watershed management work that is now past due, with another major requirement due before the end of the year. These are important obligations, and we need to make sure we have the resources in place to keep these projects moving. I'd like to thank Speaker Craig Coughlin, Assemblywoman Yvonne Lopez, and Senator Joe Vitale for helping secure $1 million in state funding for improvements at Field Park. We're excited to see this investment made in our community and look forward to the completed project. I recently met with the Shade Tree Commission where we continued discussions about our proposed cherry blossom project. But with the announcement of the upcoming improvements at Field Park, we want to make sure our planting plans don't interfere with the construction schedule. So if these renovations prevent us from completing the project there, we'll identify another suitable location, but one way or another, the cherry blossoms are coming. I also like to welcome Bharti Shah, who recently took the oath of office as our newest Shade Tree Commissioner. We look forward working together. I'd like to also congratulate Heather Yanone on becoming Sayreville Historical Society new president. We're looking forward to working with you in preserving Sayreville history. Congratulations. Just recently, I also had the opportunity to tour the Riverton redevelopment site. Construction continues to move forward and everything appears to be on schedule for a fall opening of Bass Pro Shops. It's exciting to see the progress being made there. So many things. It was also a pleasure attending the reading of the Declaration of Independence at the Borough Hall on the 4th of July. The horses provided by Legacy Riding Stables made for a wonderful backdrop, and Dennis did an outstanding job bringing the Declaration to life. It was a great event, celebration of our nation's history and our community. I want to mention two things. At our last council meeting, which ended abruptly, comments were directed toward our colleague, Councilwoman Mary Novak, that I believe fell short of the level of professionalism our residents expect from all of us. Just earlier, we threatened to kick out somebody because they weren't polite. Now, we don't all have to agree. Healthy debate is part of public service, but disagreement should never become personal. The standard we should hold ourselves is simple. If we wouldn't accept someone speaking that way to our mother, our wife, our daughter, or somebody we care about, then we shouldn't accept it in this chamber either. We owe each other that basic level of respect. And while I'm there, I'd like some clarification regarding our rules of order. On several occasions, Councilwoman Novak raised a point of order, yet it appeared those requests were not recognized or addressed. So my question directly to our borough attorney is this. When a council member raises a point of order directed to the mayor, what is the proper procedure? Is the point of order required to be recognized before business continues? And who is responsible for ruling on it under our council rules? I think having that clarification will benefit everyone on this governing body and help ensure our meetings are conducted fairly, consistently, and respectfully.
Mayor, to respond to the question, it is the mayor who chairs, and the mayor is the one who rules on the points of order on proceeding on with them.
So if there's a point of order directed to him, he can just ignore it.
Well, that is the mayor, he or she, the mayor is the chair of the body. They're the ones under the Robert Rules of Order who makes that ruling.
Anything else, Councilman?
I'm just looking forward to a meeting where we can all sit down, discuss the issues at hand without it becoming personal like it became on our last meeting. I'm really looking forward for that. I'm hoping that you can all help me achieve that.
Anything else,
Well, we
Councilman?
Yes.
We did today, right? Did we have any problems today? Did we?
Yeah, nothing personal yet. Yeah, so we're doing good so far. So I know maybe not now, it's not that crowded, but I looked around the room tonight and the turnout tells me that people want to get involved. They want their opinions, their concerns, and ideas to be part of the conversation. They want to be a part of it. Knowing that there will be significant public interest, we open up the Mikey Sedlak Center to allow additional public participation because our elevator is broken. So if you can go up the stairs, you could have gone to the Mickey Sedlak room and participate on this meeting, which is excellent, great, awesome. Tonight demonstrates that we already have the technology and infrastructure necessary to expand public access. Since joining this council in January, I've made it a priority to encourage residents to participate. Before every meeting, I post reminders because I've had many people tell me they didn't know when council meetings were held or even where they took place. If we took an oath to serve the residents of Sayreville, then we should also do everything we reasonably can to make it easier for them to participate in their local government. Okay. Tonight is proof that when people know about the meetings and have a way to participate, they show up and they participate. For that reason, I'd like to make a motion directing the appropriate staff to implement Zoom public participation for future council meetings. Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Rios,
Yes.
Mayor,
Yes.
Polisi,
Still a no. It's always been a no. I mean, I realize that some of our community can't drive at night like myself and stuff like that. But, people do make it. And, it was for a reason. It was for COVID. I understand. But, it was only brought up since COVID. you know, I mean, everybody here, you made it, you're here, fine. But it's still a no. So for me, that's my opinion. And you should accept my opinion.
Novak,
Yes.
Narski,
No, it's the same as it was. We made sure that the Mickey Sedlak building was available for Zoom tonight. We, you know, you answered our emails and everything else. I don't think it's necessary at this time.
Zabrowski,
No, I've been on a number of Zoom meetings in my lifetime, and there is nothing better than participation that comes from people that are here in person. Listening to you guys tonight, talking about when Route 9, they were talking about the Route 9 and Bordentown Avenue intersection, and we filled it. The state DOT at that time wanted you just to put it online and record your comments because they just wanted to kind of move forward with the project. But everybody showed up. You could see the emotion and the reason for why it was important to them. And then they had a meeting, and now they have two meetings, and now the people are starting to think differently. I've been on enough Zoom meetings to know that you could dismiss people very easily. Yeah, I've been on enough Zoom meetings to know that sometimes you just get bored and you lose interest. I don't want anybody to lose interest, particularly you group of Generation Z who are coming out. And I think you could. And for that purpose, and it's my experience that Zoom, as much as everybody says it leads to participation, quite frankly, I think it actually doesn't lead to good communication. There is nothing better than being here in person to talk. I respect those that may have a disability and not be able to get here, but we do make some certain accommodations. But by and large, there is nothing better than having the conversation in person. So no.
Mayor, that's 3-3.
No. And the reason is I've been mayor for a very long time, and before that a councilman, and before that a member in the audience, and the state legislature enacted the ability to use Zoom in the case of an emergency. And since there isn't an emergency, then it's a conflict with the intent of the state legislature. So it does work better when it's in person. There's more dialogue. There can be more of a back and forth. So I'll say consistent in that it doesn't serve a purpose, as there is no state of emergency, and we seem to be getting along quite. We're proceeding pretty well. Okay. Anything else?
Well, no, that was my remarks. I just wanted to also highlight the great events that are happening under Cultural Arts and Mike, and just the great work that all the volunteers are doing. And we have a good time every time they're up. Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay. Recreation, Councilman Khaleesi.
Yeah. Thanks, Councilman Rios. Now everybody just left. So I'm going to start off today with our Office of the Aging. At the senior center, they're having bus trips to Pier Village. They're scheduled for, oh no, they were already done. The next one is the 23rd. So upcoming programs also include bingo with Lara Caring. That's Friday, August 7th. And they have a karaoke day with Vision Riverside on my birthday, Friday, August 14th. So Saraville seniors who need minor safety repairs, they to help them prevent falls and whatnot. You know, those bars you put in the bathroom stalls. And so that's available now. We received the grant. So if you need it, you call them at 732-390-7058. So take advantage of that program. It's really good. So now move to Cultural Arts. Last Tuesday, July 14th, the committee hosted its rescheduled disco night. So while I was unable to attend, I received very positive feedback from residents who described it as electric, enjoyable, and a well-attended event. So the next thing is Wednesday, July 22nd. Families are invited at Kennedy Park for a combined classic car show and an outdoor movie night. So the car show runs 6 to 8. It includes trophy presentations, and it's followed by the Disney Pixar Cars movie at dusk. So the evening will also feature popcorn, ice cream, food trucks, face painting, making it family-friendly summer event for all ages. So on Thursday, July 30th, Cultural Arts welcomes back Big Bang Baby, one of New Jersey's Shore's top 80s and 90s pop rock bands. So residents are encouraged to bring their beach chairs, blankets, and friends for an evening of music and community. So they will also host the postponed Stars, Stripes, and Saraville event Thursday, August 8th from 7 to 10 p.m. Program is expected to include a U.S. Air Force presentation, then recognition of the Historical Society's 150th birthday of Saraville and its work preserving Saraville's past while inspiring its future. And a screening is also included of Marvel's Captain America, the First Avenger at dusk. So be there.
Okay.
Lastly, recreation. I got one more there. So the Recreation Department and Aquatic and Fitness Center participated in the world's largest swim lesson on June 25th, with 57 participants here joining thousands worldwide in this important water safety event. The Recreation Department thanks everyone who joined the America 250 celebration on June 28th. It was wonderful to see the community come together for family fun, fireworks, and a celebration of our nation's independence. Remember, the farmers market continues every Thursday, and the community garden lot at the War Memorial Park right next to us here. And registration is now open for all fall recreation programs. Check it out on the Saraville Recreation website and view all those offerings. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Water, Sewer, Environmental, Councilman Sinarski.
Thank you, Mayor. I promise I'll keep it short. The first thing I want to say is I would like to meet the guy that was over here, the young man that hung around Sulphurs at Kennedy Park, not Fjellek Park. I swam there many years ago. I'm glad to see he's got so much interest in it. I'd like to get him involved a little bit in the town with this. Water and sewer, the community garden is going good. I don't know if anybody goes there. It's across from St. Stan's. You got to stop in there. Water, we're still using, we're up to 225 million this month. We had a big problem July 3rd when the wind blew the solar panels in the field, in the pond behind it, and all the solar panels got damaged. The solar panels are not corrected even at this time yet. So the solar panels are will be fixed, but they aren't right now. Excuse me. The other thing, I was at Weber Avenue with the flood with Mike's area there when the pumps were off, and I was there when the water department got the pumps running and everything else, and everything's under control. Other than that, thank you. That's the end of my report.
Okay, thanks, Josh. Planning and Zoning, Council President Zabrowski.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a couple of questions which are really for updates. I think mostly directed towards, unfortunately, Jay. Do you have an update on the traffic light application? Well, not application, but letter that we've sent to the county in reference to Winding Woods development?
We're still waiting for information from the police department to send to the county to justify the installation of the signal.
Okay. I don't know, Glenn, but maybe we can ask the chief to kind of push that along. I think we all agree that that's a very important intersection, needs to be correct, needs to be addressed. Again, talking about traffic, I apologize, Hervé. Crossman Light and Main, Crossman and Main, I know that that's the county doing the upgrade, but that light cycle continues to be junk. I mean, it just backs everything up. or when is the new light coming in, or when are they going to recycle it?
The infrastructure, it's their utility companies are relocating poles and getting the infrastructure ready. Contract's been awarded, it's under construction, but they're waiting on utility movement before they can start. So there was
An ETA?
I would say within the next month, you should see work actually starting on the ceiling because they're almost complete with the pole relocation.
We just became aware today, at the end of the day, Verizon needs to remove the poles. They're pointing the finger at the contractor who needs to remove the wiring for the traffic signal that currently controls the light. We'll be working on that tomorrow morning.
And then finally, and this is again, I know that, believe it or not, schools will be coming back in session fairly soon, but speaking to some of the residents, particularly on Quaid Street, which is off of Washington Road, which is a one-way street, very narrow, but it becomes the main thoroughfare in the morning for traffic, people dropping off their kids down at Wilson School. Can you just see, I'm asking if the chief could have his Traffic Safety Bureau take a look, see if there's additional signage or something else that could be done. The residents there seem to be quite concerned that the traffic the flow is very, very high, steady, and could be potentially harmful to particularly the young pedestrians. And Mayor, that's my only questions, and I defer my time to our public this evening.
Okay. That being said, under my report, two things. First thing is, I would recommend that a lot of the people that came here tonight about the data center take some time and get some fundamental knowledge about land use. So I've sat up here a long time, and some projects have support, some don't. But what we are charged with doing is the borough owns at least a third of the borough. We own a great deal of property here. And then there's that property which we don't own. And what we try to do is guide what the property owner, who by law has the right to do this, seek a higher and better use for their property under the law. And what happens is, if you lose, if somebody says, hey, I want to build a playground, and you go, no, you can't build a playground, and you go to court and you lose, you then, the borough is then subject to builder remedy. And the borough has no input in this. And it's between the judge and the builder. And we try to be extraordinarily careful not to put ourselves in that position. So after 125 years, and Bernie, you're sitting in the back, you're a Bailey. Karen, who's a Bailey, was sitting right here. It was your ancestors that sold the 500 acres to Hercules in the 1800s. And by marriage, I'm a Bailey. Everybody's related in Saraville. I'm a Bailey. Bernie and Karen technically are like my cousins, although sometimes they won't admit it. But that being said, so for 5 generations, Hercules and DuPont provided employment to the people of Saraville, helped raise 5 generations of people. They made the gunpowder that won 2 world wars. It's a very proud heritage. But after 125 years, Hercules said, okay, we're going to close down. So now there's 200 acres of industrial property. It has some contamination on it from the years of chemical manufacturing. And what a lot of people don't realize, it had a buffer of trees. And inside, it was just all commercial manufacturing. So now, and on those 200 acres, the last number I heard was they were asking on the real estate market for $500,000 an acre. So it's a $200 million purchase, which the borough, first of all, we're not allowed to buy contaminated property. It's against the law. Secondly, we don't have $200 million. So the best we can do is try to direct what will happen to that property. And that is that whole world of land use, which if you ever had problems sleeping at night, you read a book on land use. It'll put you to sleep faster than anything else. But I would advise you, Jay, do you have any recommendations, or John, on a primer for land use? For the people of Sayreville who may or may not be interested in it. But a lot of times we find ourselves in a situation where we're just trying to guide how a piece of private property gets developed, particularly commercial, because it's limited to what we have, limited what's left, and we would like it to benefit the borough. But we're also subject to the use that the property owner is looking to do with the property. So it's somewhat complex. It's just not, there's no magic wand that any government official can wave and say, you can't do this, because there's always a court of law that says, yes, they can. And in my long tenure up here, I have seen that happen time and time again, where it went to court, and there's a winner and a loser when you go to court. And we try to make sure that we're on the side of the law. But Jay, getting back to the primer, if people were interested, could you have your office look at that and see if there's a primer that the residents of New Jersey use on land use?
Yeah, I think that Rutgers has online courses that you could possibly look into that might.
All right, could you have someone from your office send it over here, send it to Nicole, and we'll put it up on the borough website. That being said, what I'd like to do with the remainder of my report is ask the president of the Board of Education, Eloy, to come up and give a report on Sayreville's first Latino Day. Eloy, if you would, please. And you're completely unprepared. I didn't ask him to prepare, but I like putting my friend. By the way, I went to our favorite restaurant on Saturday for lunch, and I had 2 cups of Costa Rican coffee, and I was looking at the ceiling at 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't know how you, but Eloy, there's a new restaurant in town that's Latino, and I went there. Eloy and I went there for lunch, and he introduced me to Cuban coffee. And which is great, except I'll never drink it again because I was awake for 3 days. So good stuff.
Major, I think I went that same day to eat there.
Latinport?
Yeah. I went and I was like, oh, they told me that you were there earlier. So I missed you,
Well, timing is everything. So you would have met 2 sons of Sayreville, Eloy and myself. Go ahead, Eloy.
Thank
So
you.
the show's yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and you're right. Latinport's a great restaurant, and it was also the site of the borough's first ever historic bilingual podcast. Growing up as a Hispanic in this town, going back to the early 80s, maybe even the late 70s, I don't want to admit that, but for me, it was a very touching moment. It shows the change in our town, the very positive change in our town, and the growth in our town. And I want to thank you, Mr. Mayor, for making that happen. Growing up here, almost 50 years, it was a long time coming. So
Change
thank
is
you.
here.
Yes, sir. And I know deep down inside, you're really Latino.
I like rice and beans, but I'm still Irish, and I'll eat a potato.
And along that same note, the borough's going to have its first ever Hispanic Heritage Month, Latin Day on September 19th. It's going to be an incredible event. We're going to have a number of performers, including performers from TV's The Voice, and the Spanish version, La Voz, will be performing with us. We're going to have fireworks, events for the families. It's going to be a historic event for us. It's going to be probably one of the biggest events in town, and I'm looking forward to this. This is a real game changer for our community, and it really shows representation of our community. We're now the largest subgroup in town. I believe we're around 20%. If that reminds me right.
20%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's about time. I grew up in a town when 20 was a lot. I mean, 20 people, not 20%. So this was a big change in our town. It's great to see that our town has this representation now. And as we see it here on the Borough Council with Mr. Rios, and we see it now on the Board of Ed, where 3 of us are individuals of color, including our first 2 foreign-born women of color. So it's been a great historic change in our town, and I want to thank my fellow residents, thank our mayor, and thank our council for all you do for this.
So let's talk about who's cooking at the festival and who's playing music. And when I first came in here, there was a preponderance of Polish people and descendants of people from Poland. And they tried to teach me first they tried to teach me Polish, and that was not overly successful. And then they tried to teach me how to polka, which was a complete failure. So my understanding is there are going to be people that are going to try to teach me how to salsa. And for whatever reason, when God made me this big, he gave me no rhythm. And so I plant my feet like an oak tree and I move my shoulders. And that's as good as it's ever going to get. But we'll see what happens on Latin Day.
Well, listen, the music will take you over.
Stella Mashevitz tried to teach me the polka. And you know what? I had to keep saying, Stella was about 5 foot tall, and she has me out on the dance floor, and I had to say, "Hey, Stella, stop leading, stop leading."
Well, listen, I have a feeling that Gloria Estefan was correct, and the rhythm is going to get you.
Well, I hope so. Eventually,
think-
before I die, I'd like to have rhythm.
No, but yeah, we're going to have foods from all kinds of cultures there. It's going to be. The food's going to be fantastic. The music's going to be fantastic. And like I said, we have some special performers from The Voice and La Voz and many, many others that are going to be a really fun night.
By the way, Eli and I did another bilingual podcast from, actually, a good friend of mine has a place called Urbanos
Yes.
down on
Stop,
Main
right.
Street by the Quick Check. So we went in there and we did the podcast from barber chairs. And I got to tell you, I got a lot of compliments, for an old guy. When somebody says, "Boy, that's a nice haircut, Kennedy,"
You look 10 years younger.
there you go. So brought the
No,
Latin out in me.
I always go there. My barber's Augusto. Anybody wants to go see him? No, it's a great place. It's a great.
And they
great place
made us
to go.
coffee.
And they made us coffee.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty
Yes.
good. Urbanos on Main Street.
Not quite Cuban coffee, but it was still very good.
Dominican.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
a little part.
Elizabeth's Dominican.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yep. And she's also on our Latin Day committee. So you
Yeah.
really brought together a number of community partners in on this from a number of cultures. So it's great. It's also great that has representation of the community on the council.
Would you also mention Mama D's Yankee signing?
Yeah, so Mama D's, who's also a member of our community, does so much for our community. Anyone who's had their empanadas knows they are the best empanadas anywhere. But more importantly, they're even better human beings. We all know of the tragedy that happened in Venezuela recently. When this happened, one of the first things Mama D's did is, how can I help? So they've done a great job. They have a number of, I forget exactly the Yankee All-Stars that were coming, but they have a number of Yankee stars that are coming to do a specific signing on
It's
August.
Luis Soho.
Luis Soho, yes. Thank you. I'm a Met fan, so, I kind of, try to forget the Yankees,
You're
but.
Cuban.
Yeah. So I believe it's August 7th. They're gonna have it at their facility. Come in, get your autograph signed, and 100% of all the donations and all the food sold that day is going to affect the relief efforts in Venezuela, which is very, very desperately needed in that community. So again, a tremendous effort by Mama D, Steve, and his wife. They always do an amazing job at any time that there's a tragedy. When there was the hurricanes in Puerto Rico, they were there. Time and time again, they sacrifice and they give. And this is just another example in a long list.
Did Joe ever get it worked out on Latin Day where he's bringing the wrestling?
Unfortunately, that's not going to work out.
Sorry.
We're going to have professional wrestling there, but there was a conflict with the scheduling date. So,
Okay.
So it couldn't happen.
Okay.
But next year we'll
Kids
have.
love that.
Yes.
He
Next year.
does
we
that
will
down
have
at
to
St.
have that.
Sands, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, Alberto, just so you know, I learned about Puerto Rican sock coffee. I call it sock coffee, where you put the grounds in I call it a sock. And
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys call it, but I give things named.
Ecolado, yeah.
So I didn't have it, but he has it on display there.
And he also has the mocha pots there, which is my way of doing it, like a cafetera.
He was talking about percentage. It's 16.67% on the council of Hispanic.
There you go. All
right.
right.
All right, so Eli, I really thank you very much for all the work you're doing on Latin Day and for joining me on these bilingual podcasts. I think
course, it's an honor.
it's time and my kids like them.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Mayor, for
Okay.
including me. Thank you.
Thanks, Eloy. With that, we'll go to agenda items and minutes.
Authorization for the tax collector to refund taxes and cancel all subsequently billed taxes due to 100% disabled veteran tax exemption for 25 Quaid Ave in the amount of $5,174.55.
Any objection? Next item.
Application for person-to-person transfer received from Steve Mitnick, assignee for the benefit of creditors of Pure Event Center, which is a pocket license to Theka LLC. All reports and paperwork have been filed.
Any objections? Next item.
Application for a social affair permit received from Saraville PBA Local 98 to serve beer and wine at their annual picnic on August 30th from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Any objection? Next item.
Authorization for membership to the Purchasing Cooperative America of Hico, Texas.
Any objection? Next item.
Authorization to bill the following owners plus administrative costs for the removal of a substantial amount of overgrowth from the property, 10 Henry Street in the amount of $259.90, 32 Weber in the amount of $173.26, and 770 Washington Road in the amount of $433.16.
Any objection? Next item.
Application for membership as a fighter received from Peyton Maliv, accepted by the Melrose Hose Company, number 1 at their July 6th meeting.
Any objection? Next item.
Authorization for the borough clerk to advertise for the receipt of sealed bids for abandoned and unclaimed motor vehicles.
Any objection? Next item.
Authorization to award a contract to Motorola Solutions for Vesta support maintenance renewal through NJ State Contract in amount not to exceed $47,767.20.
Next item.
Authorization to award a non-fair and open contract to Cambria Automotive of Newark for truck repairs in the amount not to exceed $33,460.74.
Any objection? Next item.
Authorization to award a non-fair and open contract to Papco Industries of Newark for leaf bags in the amount not to exceed $22,312.80.
Any objections? Next item.
Authorization to extend the contract with Custom Care Services for groundskeeping services on various borough properties not to exceed $97,425.
Any objection? Next item.
Authorization to award a non-fair and open contract to R&J Garage Door to replace the doors at the Saraville Emergency Squad in the amount not to exceed $32,709.76.
Any objection? Next item.
Authorization to award a contract to AC Schultes to replace a pump at the Winding Woods Pump Station through North Jersey Wastewater Cooperative Pricing System in an amount not to exceed $18,911.
Any objection? Okay. Borough Administrator's report.
I have one add-on that I'll lead off with, sir. The elevator repair, I need permission from the council to engage with New York, New Jersey Elevator Company to do a complete rebuild, including all of the hydraulics of the Borough elevator with a not-to-exceed price of $180,000.
Is there any objection? Do we need a roll call on that?
Every reso.
Okay. Do we have a tentative okay so that we can begin the work? Does anybody object to beginning the work and then we'll follow up in a month's time with the reso? Well, wait a minute, before we go backwards, let's go forward. Is there any objection to Glenn proceeding with this to try, if there's a business to go into at the moment, is elevator repair?
Yeah, is there any
Whatever
other,
reason, and I've known elevator guys in my life, and they're very good and decent tradesmen. They must be busier than the Dickens because.
any other contractors? that-
So anyway, is there any objection for Glenn to proceed this, and then we'll follow up with the paperwork? All right, we have the not to exceed amount. We have the company name. Is that enough, Counselor? For Glenn to proceed, and then we'll follow it up with the necessary reso?
Proceed to set up the work, line it all
Yeah,
up and
yeah.
schedule it? Yes.
Okay. Any objection? No objection? Okay, go ahead, go
And I
ahead.
only have, we're looking to fill a vacancy at the police department because we had somebody resign. Authorization to appoint Kevin Monroe Jr. as a public safety telecommunicator effective August 1st, 2026.
Any objection?
I just have a question. I thought that we were not replacing anybody that was leaving this year until the end of the year. I thought we discussed that during the budget process.
Well, in this particular instance, it creates an inordinate amount of overtime, leaving that position open. It would be fiscally more prudent to fill it with somebody at straight time.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any objections? Anything else, Glenn?
That's it, sir.
All right, CFO's report?
Yeah. Can you guys all hear me? Oh, thank you, Mayor. I only have one thing for tonight. It's authorization to release escrow to Colonial Gardens Builders LLC for 21 John Street in the amount of $1,863.50.
Okay, anything else, Danielle?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Borough Engineers report?
Thank you, Mayor. Two items. First is improvement to Oak Street, looking for approval of a change order that's not going to increase the contract amount. It allows the contractor to do extra work requested by the borough. Need a resolution for that. Second item is a resolution entering an agreement with the DOT concerning their project on Route 9 toward the Parkway ramp in South Amboy. There's water and sewer lines that have to be relocated, so they need to have an agreement with the borough to cover that. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I'm going, Joe, Borough Attorney's report?
Thank you. Nothing this evening, Mayor.
Okay. At this time, I'm going to open the public portion for questions or comments on all topics. John?
You might need a motion or you
No,
want?
no,
You
no.
do chair.
Just need to pause. Oh.
Okay, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Ken.
Can you get past me?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, Council President. In view of the hour, I'm not going to take 5 minutes or anywhere near that. Just want to make a couple of quick comments. I want to thank the councilmen up here who changed their votes on making this firehouse a historic site. I know it took a long time for that to happen because there were a lot of instances where we tried to do that. I think it's very important, and I do want to thank you for changing your votes and seeing the light. I want to thank Councilman Blemmer for his continued support for a total ban on the centers. I think that's what you heard the public wants to do. 18 months to most people does not seem adequate. And I hope you'll move forward with that as quickly as possible. It's good that we got the 18 months under our belt, but the mayor talked about litigation, et cetera. I want to tell you, I have heard from some professionals over the last year or so about a couple of lawsuits that we were involved in. And they said the reason we got into them was that our laws in town weren't right. Obviously, I'm not going to go into what suits they were, but they said if we had proper land use laws, it probably wouldn't have happened. And if it did happen, it wouldn't have come to the extent it was and cost us what it did. So I think that is important. And what Mary said up here about getting this 18 months under our belt, because somebody comes in and boom, now you got a problem. It's what happened. I'm sorry the mayor's gone, but I think we all know what happened to the affordable housing. The mayor himself 4 or 5 months ago said he didn't do it because the people didn't want it. He didn't mention that the developers really didn't want it. I know that's for sure. He never mentioned that. But it was a violation of the law. The affordable housing laws had been in effect for long before Kennedy O'Brien was ever mayor of Sayreville, probably 30, 35 years, a long, long time. And to just violate the laws. And what happened, somebody took it to court, could have even been a front organization. I'm just saying that, I know that's a fact. But what happened, these developers who for years went through no affordable housing here, they joined a lawsuit against the borough. Now, wasn't that a slap in the face? Wasn't that a slap on both sides of the face? And what happened? The judge to settle this case, he overthrew our zoning ordinances. The builders cried, well, yeah, we want to build affordable housing, but now we have no space. And he overthrew our zoning ordinance. And that's why when you ride down the street, you see the buildings, they look like you know what they look like? You ever play Monopoly? They look like the hotels in Monopoly, one on top of the other. That's what happened. The judge overthrew the zoning ordinance. So we know what happens when you ignore laws or you don't have the right laws in effect. So I'm glad we got this 18-month in effect. But I'm asking Councilman Blemmer, don't let that stop you, Councilman. You're on this from day one, and I thank you for your efforts in it. I'm going to withhold anything else in view of the hour. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ken. Heather?
Good evening. It's very late. Heather Unoni, 15 Ida Street. First, I would like to just thank the council for finally giving the historic designation to the 1909 Town Hall. It has been a fight that the Historical Society has been fighting for 12 years. So to finally see a bit of that come to fruition is just, it means a lot. I do have some words that I'd like to read. I'm just going to pull this down. As the newly elected president of the Sayreville Historical Society, I'm writing to formally express my profound concerns regarding the current lack of transparency and oversight surrounding the 1909 Town Hall restoration plans. While my predecessor advocated exceptionally well for this landmark, my approach will be significantly more direct than his was. It is entirely unacceptable that our organization, meaning the Sayreville Historical Society, which holds the custodial memory of this municipality, has been excluded from the planning process and permitted to attend only a single consultation meeting. Having met with all of the council members sitting up here, I know we have stressed these concerns in the meetings that we had. And thank you all for attending those meetings. It's sincerely appreciated. Just kind of going back to the few points I want to make for a record. The systematic disregard for historical integrity that was recently demonstrated during the reckless removal of the building's antique safes. I just kind of want to touch on that. I don't know if anyone has noticed the structural damage near the window on the front fascia of the building, the 1909 Town Hall. These irreplaceable artifacts, meaning the safes that were extracted, were done so with a complete lack of care, resulting in structural damage to the building before being discarded in the trash, meaning the safes, the antique safes were discarded in the trash. This incident underscores a broader failure to understand the basic preservation standards. We demand that the contractors responsible for the removal of those safes are held fully accountable for the negligence, and that their liability insurance completely fund the necessary restoration work, because as we all know, that shouldn't come on taxpayer money anymore. They didn't make that mistake. Furthermore, I know that there are designs out there about the proposed plan for the 1909 Town Hall. I know that many have seen it. We got our hands on it and we did put it out onto Facebook. It is an absolute abomination, considering the history that building has. It is an unacceptable compromise of our local heritage, in my opinion. The borough architect, maybe they simply lack the specialized expertise required to navigate complexities of retrofitting a 117-year-old building. But it's a deficiency that is painfully evident in the design. This project requires immediate oversight with a certified historic preservation specialist before irreversible damage is done to the building's architectural fabric. My hope with this historic designation, which we incredibly appreciate, we hope that we can bring the focus back to getting the collaboration back on track with what should have been originally promised, which was when that referendum went through, it was our understanding that the Sayreville Historical Society would be a more integrated part of that process, and we have not, with the exception of being at one meeting. I know that my predecessor, former President Frank Torresino, he has sent numerous emails that have never been returned. So I'm hoping today is the start of a new foot forward. I'm hoping that as a board, you can look at those plans and possibly maybe consider redoing them because the current plan looks absolutely atrocious. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather, and congratulations. And Frank, really a wonderful job. Before you come up though, or while you're coming up, Jay, can you touch on the damage to the building, or Jay or Glenn, but I think Jay, I know we had a conversation about it.
Yeah, there was damage done by the contractor that was removing some materials from the front of the building, and he's been contacted. He's aware that he's responsible, and there will be details prepared as to what he needs to do to take care of the problem.
Does anything need to be done immediately to shore that up?
No. Now, if we're talking number of months before the project moves to its next phase, then I would say we need to do something before that. But there were discussions about moving this forward over the next couple of months, so we should be okay with that.
Thinking though, we're probably going to have conversations, so you probably should look towards getting that shored up.
We will proceed to have a detail prepared and get in touch with the contractor and have them take care of that.
Thank you. Frank?
Oh, I'm sorry. Frank, I have one question. Who authorized those guys to actually take out the safe and then throw them away? Who was the person that authorized that? Because
This historical society was given an opportunity, Frank would agree, on several occasions to go in and remove any artifacts required to be sustained. Anything else left after that was considered removable, and it was removed as debris. Because they gutted the entire building.
yeah, but I'm thinking a safe that old, one thing is,
We couldn't handle that. That was too big for us.
oh, okay, so
But it should have been either scrapped or saved in the building.
because when I saw the pictures, I was like, what? But, okay,
But it's history now.
thank you.
History, funny. Frank Terzino, Canal Street, Sayreville. I first want to clarify and set the record straight about my comment July 29th at the council chambers here, when the architect was here presenting his plan. I was quoted as saying, I'm okay with it. I did say those words, but I was nervous like I am now a little bit, and I struggled to speak before a crowd. I intended to say, it didn't come out that way, that I accept that the architect stated the exterior will mimic the current Borough Hall, and I was thrilled to hear the architect say he would attempt to remove the brick coat and make it look as it was original as possible. And I said I was okay with that. That's what I was going for. I wasn't okay with all the other, excuse the expression, nonsense, but we're here today. Let's move forward. At that meeting, we were supposed to meet with the architect again to go over before they made the resolution, which is supposed to be tonight, and they pulled it, which was good. And by the way, thanks for the local designation. That means a lot to everybody. And I lost my train of thought. Yeah, we were supposed to have another meeting after the presentation, but he never contacted me. So I was wondering if, before they make the presentation in front of you guys, can we get a presentation so we know what we're talking about, what's going on? Because to have them come up here and present and you vote on it, that wouldn't be fair to us or to the people. So I was looking, maybe we can do something like that, some kind of role. And I like to also keep in mind that the November 5th referendum wording, should the Borough of Sayreville seek to preserve the town hall firehouse, not modify, not change. Preservation means maintain, keep intact, keep original state. Preservation is the act of maintaining or protecting something of historical value, cultural, architectural significance and form. Adaptive use, repurpose historical buildings for new functions while retaining historic characters. I hope we're all on the same page now. It would be so much easier on the brain if we all work together, and I think we could do this. And I did mention to Glenn, he got back to me today about the crack and he told me he did give me some insight on that. So, and I said, Glenn's the only one that really got back to me. Stan got back to me a couple of times, but when I email Glenn, he pretty much gets back to me. I think Mikey did a couple of times, but it was nothing really substantial. It was just like, okay, I hear you. I think that's all. There's one thing here. We haven't seen the plans. We don't know what they are, but they were talking about a vestibule in the front, like a greenhouse in front of the firehouse. I think it's out of control. It shouldn't happen. Under what, I want to ask, I thought they were going to be here tonight, under what code did it go under to determine the vestibule was required? I did some research, Department of Energy, Conservation Code, big long number, states exceptions to the vestibules, including that if entering a conditioned room at 3,000 square feet or more, require vestibules. Under 3,000 square feet does not. That's under 3,000 square feet. There should be no greenhouse in front of the, going over the video from the presentation, they said if you see the vestibule, it'll disappear. I mean, I'm not a magician. They said you won't be able to see it. Well, I'm getting nervous again. But that's the point we're trying to make, and we appreciate making it landmark. Do we know when it's going to be up for vote, resolution, or next meeting, 2 meetings, or any idea?
I think that's yet to be determined because I think at this point, we haven't commissioned the architect to do anything more than, I believe, that one rendition. So I don't know, Glenn, are there any plans with meeting further?
They're going to need to come in and meet with the council and just review what the proposal is to get permission to detailed architectural.
Leave involved.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to be concerned, concerning. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Yes, sir.
I just had a quick question. Are we locked in with that engineer? Or do we have?
That's right.
No, for the firehouse, for the rendering.
Yeah.
The architect, I'm sorry.
The appointed borough engineer, yeah.
So we're.
Architect.
Sorry. So we're locked in, we don't have a choice? Because the reason why I'm asking is, I was told that this architect in particular doesn't have the credentials to work on a historical site. Is that?
He's a qualified architect that we've used for many projects in town. As far as whether or not he has a particular historic certification or something like that exists, I would have no idea.
Maybe you could find out if somebody in his firm does.
Okay.
I mean, I don't even know if that's a thing, a historical certification, but at least like.
Some that have done this a lot, and from what I understand, this guy really has never done historical.
That's what I heard, so that's why I'm inquiring. So that's one of the issues that was brought up to us, that the architect doesn't really have a history on this type of work.
Well, I think maybe it would be prudent then when he comes in to meet and explain his work thus far, that you guys can closely question him and determine for yourselves whether or not you feel he's appropriate for the task at hand.
Well, I think that's the Historical Society should.
Whomever you would like to have that done.
So can we get them included on this? Thank you.
Sir, come on.
Mike Mona, Weber Avenue again. Sort of, a lot of things I have here were touched on already. So, but the traffic lights, you talked about the one by Steel Mill. That's messed up. Also, even the next one by the bridge, Main Street and the extension where it starts, that one seems to be a little off maybe. And especially the next one by the fire training center. That one has been always messed up. Like you'll come to that, there's nobody even around and it's red. Was that, I don't know if it was ever addressed. Usually, whoever, it might be a county road, so it might not even be our.
It's county DOT, but we can. we'll
So they,
advise them.
yeah, I believe the guy just has to put a computer on it, adjust the camera maybe, and fix that issue, hopefully. Stosh, I already mentioned they're gonna redo that sewer, pump stations on Weber. Is that true?
The controls are probably gonna be updated.
Control, because I went by there before the meeting. I saw there's only 2 out of 3 pumps are there. So one's was taken out for whatever reason, I don't know.
Has to be replaced.
One has to be, and the other 2 work?
Do work.
Okay. And the automation doesn't work, I assume? Okay. And the sewer system itself, is that jetted since last week or something? Because that was clogged up, seemed like. Even last night, there was water in the street.
I saw the catch basins high.
Yes.
Past your house. If I went, I'll check on it.
Right. They may be fixed today, I
I
don't
thought they were
know.
still surcharged because the water was in the street at the lower level. So the storm drain up further past your house would have water in it because the elevation would find center.
Correct.
I'll go back there now and look.
Very good. Oh, is there a list of streets that are going to get paved in the town? Say something about, is Miller Avenue one of them? Because that's horrible. Miller Avenue, is that getting paved by chance?
Not on the
No.
current list, no.
So I think I lost the filling on that street the other day. That's how bad it is. All right. That's about it. And Sulphurs, I used to go to Sulphurs all the time too. Drank out of that spring,
Of course.
right?
Like
It was
mud
a
mods.
built-in water fountain right there. Okay, and the Comcast wanting to come into town is great news for competition with Optimum. And I remember when COVID was going on, I remember Comcast had like free, like the guy was saying, they were offering free internet, places like that, which was great. And then on the other hand, Optimum, I remember they had commercials saying, oh, you're home, we could boost your internet for $30 more a month or something, so that rubbed me the wrong way. So I'm for Comcast. But that's about it. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Anybody else from the audience, from the public this evening? Sure.
So real quick, Brent Wright, 154 Pulaski. The paving in the town, what has been done has been great. Deerfield Avenue, in my 33 years in this town, has never been that good. The only thing I ask, can we paint the curbs to prevent cars from parking on the apexes of the curbs on both sides of the road? The town is great. Living on Pulaski, we used to have signs saying no parking. There's one sign for the quarter-mile length of Pulaski now. So the signs have been removed over the last 20 plus years. Curbs aren't being painted. So people are parking wherever they are. So for safety, if we can look into that. And I'll be back next month for others.
I appreciate that. And now Pulaski Avenue we've heard a lot about the parking issues on Pulaski Avenue. So I don't,
Yeah,
if we could just get DPW, to take a look and get some signs back up and maybe some enforcement as well would be.
That and cars parked. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Thank you, Brian.
Can I get a motion to close the public portion?
So moved.
All in favor?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion for adjournment?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.